Welcome to Mr. Sleepy Stories. Tonight, we'll speak softly about dogs, gentle companions who've walked beside us through time, protectors, dreamers, and quiet keepers of warmth. As the night settles in, we'll drift through the peaceful world they see, the instincts they carry, and the small, soothing wonders that make them who they are. If you enjoy what I do here, please like, subscribe, and share your experience with this video topic in the comments below. I love reading your stories and hearing how these calm facts help you unwind before sleep. When a litter of puppies enters the world, they don't see light or hear sound. Their eyes are sealed shut, their ears folded over, and the world around them is a blur of darkness and quiet. Yet somehow they still find their way to warmth, to comfort, and to the steady heartbeat of their mother. A newborn puppy's entire universe begins with touch and scent. It wiggles blindly across the nest, guided by the faint smell of milk and the gentle vibration of breath. Their tiny noses, still damp from birth, are already awake before their eyes ever open. To them, scent is vision. It paints invisible trails toward safety. It tells them who's nearby and where they belong. If you watch a mother dog with her newborns, you'll see something ancient playing out. A soft rhythm of life that's thousands of years old. She'll lick each one carefully, warming them, cleaning them, and spreading her scent so they can always find her. The puppies respond by crawling toward her warmth, pressing their noses into her fur, nuzzling until they hear the slow, low thump of her heart. That sound becomes the first comfort they ever know. There's a reason nature keeps their eyes closed for the first 2 weeks. In those days, their tiny brains are still wiring themselves, growing stronger in safety. Light and sound would overwhelm them too soon. Instead, they experience the world through the gentlest senses first: warmth, pressure, and smell, the ones most tied to love and security. As they grow, their senses slowly bloom open. Around the 10th day, their eyelids flutter for the first time, revealing cloudy, uncertain vision. Soon after, their ears begin to hear. The world suddenly becomes bigger, full of muffled yips and rustling straw. But even then, they keep close to the smells that raised them. And that never really changes. Even adult dogs carry those early imprints. When a grown dog curls against your leg, it's chasing that same memory of warmth and safety. When it buries its nose into your clothes, breathing you in, it's not just curiosity, it's comfort. Smell and body heat have always meant home. Scientists believe those first few weeks shape a dog's sense of trust forever. Puppies raised in warmth and gentle touch grow calmer, more confident. Those denied it often remain anxious, always searching for a comfort they never quite found. It's a quiet reminder that the simplest forms of love, warmth, presence, scent, matter more than words ever could. So when your dog settles beside you tonight, sighing softly before sleep, it isn't random affection. It's something older, something instinctive. A small creature remembering its very first lesson about the world, that safety has a smell, love has a temperature, and home can be found in the rhythm of another heartbeat. When a dog curls up beside you, maybe pressing its back against your leg or resting its chin on your arm. Something invisible begins to happen. Inside that small, warm chest, its heartbeat gently slows. It's not slap, it's trust. A quiet, physical sign that in this moment it feels completely safe. Scientists studying canine heart rhythms have discovered that dogs experience measurable calm when lying near someone they love. Their pulse drops, their breathing evens out, and tiny muscles in their face relax. The same biological reactions humans have when they feel secure. It's not just comfort, it's chemistry. Oxytocin, the so-called bonding hormone, rises in both of you. You relax, your breathing steadies, and your dog's heartbeat mirrors yours. It's a language older than words. Long before humans could build houses or name emotions, our ancestors sat beside campfires with their first companions, wolves that learned what peace felt like beside us. Over time, that bond became instinct. To a dog, lying next to a trusted human is like returning to the pack after a long hunt. It means safety. It means warmth. It means no danger tonight. If you've ever felt your dog sigh against you, that soft exhale that feels almost human, that's the sound of letting go. Their body eases into yours, their pulse slowing with every breath you take. In that moment, your dog is reading you. The rhythm of your chest, the rise and fall of your lungs, the stillness in your energy. And the calmer you are, the more their body mirrors it back. The effect isn't one-sided either. Studies show that our heart rate also decreases when we are close to our dogs. Touching their fur, feeling that gentle breathing, it tells your nervous system the same thing. You're safe. The two heartbeats, different in tempo and size, slowly begin to fall into sync. It's quiet magic written into biology. There's something beautifully circular about that. We calm them, they calm us. No words, no lessons, no training. Just a simple loop of safety between two species that decided long ago to trust each other completely. When your dog follows you from room to room, it's not just habit. It's that invisible heartbeat thread tugging them toward you. When they settle at your feet, their heart slowing. It's a small ceremony of belonging. They are, in that moment, exactly where every instinct says they should be, beside the one they trust. So the next time your dog drifts off next to you, and you feel that steady breathing brush against your skin, know that something profound is happening. Two hearts, once wild and separate, are quietly finding rhythm together, saying, without sound, I'm safe, you're safe, we can rest now. Some memories live in the nose instead of the mind. For a dog, your scent isn't just a smell, it's a story. Every walk, every laugh, every quiet night you've ever shared leaves a trace of you that no distance or time can erase. A dog's sense of smell is almost unimaginably sharp. Hidden inside that soft muzzle is a labyrinth of scent receptors, around 300 million of them, compared to our 5 million. The part of their brain devoted to scent is 40 times larger than ours in proportion. That's why they can track a single drop of liquid across miles of forest, or follow a trail that's days old. But what's even astonishing is what happens when the scent belongs to someone they love. Scientists have found that when dogs catch a familiar human scent, even from an old shirt or a worn pillow. Their brain lights up in the same pleasure centers that react to affection and reward. It's not just recognition, it's joy. That smell is home. There are stories of dogs traveling across countries to reunite with their owners, guided by nothing more than the faintest thread of scent in the air. A stray gust carrying the smell of familiar soap, a trace of skin salt on a coat sleeve. For humans, that would be invisible. But for a dog, it's a beacon, glowing through miles of nothing. Even years later, the bond survives in scent. Dogs who meet their owners again after long separation don't hesitate or pause to remember. They simply know. Before the voice, before the face, the nose tells the heart, it's you. To them, your scent is more than chemistry. It's an emotional fingerprint. It holds your habits, your mood, even your health. They can smell if you've been sad or sick or sweating from laughter. They can tell when you've been somewhere new or when you've been around other dogs. Every detail adds to the scent story that defines who you are. And here's the gentle truth. Even when you're gone for hours, days, or years, that story stays alive inside them. The moment they catch it again, from a sweater pulled out of a drawer, from shoes left by the door, their body relaxes. Their tail gives that quiet, knowing wag. For them, it's as if you never truly left. So tonight, if your dog curls up on something that smells like you, it isn't random comfort. It's devotion written in invisible ink, a scent that whispers, "You're still here." And maybe that's the most loyal part of them, a heart that listens through the nose, remembering you not by sight or sound, but by the trace of who you are that lingers in the air. There's a certain poetry in the way a dog turns before sleep. A few slow spins, a quiet sigh, and then, there it is, a perfect circle of fur and breath. To most of us, it's simply adorable, but to the dog, it's something older, a shape learned long before there were pillows or soft blankets. Thousands of years ago, when dogs were still wild cousins of wolves, the night wasn't always kind. Temperatures dropped fast, winds crept through grass, and safety came from stillness. Curling into a ball wasn't just comfortable, it was survival. By tucking nose to tail, they sealed in their body heat, guarding their hearts and bellies from the cold and from unseen dangers. The tight spiral of fur and warmth became their natural armor against the world. Even today, that instinct hasn't disappeared. Inside every domesticated nap is a memory of wild nights under open skies. Your living room companion may be surrounded by comfort, yet some part of its mind still feels the pull of that ancient habit. Make yourself small. Keep the warmth in. Stay safe until morning. Scientists call it thermoregulation, the art of conserving heat by minimizing exposed surface area. But to watch it happen feels much gentler than science. It's like seeing time fold in on itself. The same motion that once protected the ancestors of wolves now makes your sleepy friend feel secure beside your couch. If you pay attention, you'll notice small variations in how dogs sleep. A dog that curls tightly might be cold, cautious, or simply seeking the feeling of being wrapped in its own comfort. When it sprawls out belly up, it's declaring total trust. The ancient alarm finally switched off. Both positions tell stories, just in different dialects of the same language. Sometimes older dogs circle several times before settling, pressing down invisible grass that isn't there anymore. It's muscle memory, passed down through generations who flatten tall meadows before resting. They're rehearsing the motions of ancestors they've never met. There's something deeply soothing about that, the idea that even in safety, creatures carry echoes of their wild beginnings. Every curl of the tail over the nose, every turn before sleep is a whisper from the past. This is how we made it through the night. So when your dog tucks itself into that neat little circle at the end of the day, know that it isn't just finding a comfortable spot. It's following a memory older than memory itself. In that small spiral of warmth lies the story of survival, family, and trust, all condensed into the quiet rhythm of breathing fur. And maybe that's why it feels so peaceful to watch. You're seeing not just rest, but the timeless choreography of comfort, a circle that began in the wild and now completes itself beside you. Somewhere in the middle of the night, a sleeping dog's paw twitches. Its nose gives a faint sniff, a tail stirs, maybe even a tiny bark slips out. It's not random. It's a story unfolding behind closed eyes, a dream. And if science is right, that dream just might have you in it. Researchers studying sleeping dogs found something extraordinary. When dogs drift into deep REM sleep, the same phase where humans dream, their brain activity begins to mirror ours almost perfectly. The waves that pulse through a dreaming dog's brain follow the same rhythms that accompany our most vivid memories and emotions. In those gentle pulses of electricity, the mind plays back the day. And what does a dog's day revolve around? You. The sound of your voice, the smell of your clothes, the feel of your footsteps coming closer. Dogs live through their senses, so their dreams are stitched together from familiar scents and sounds, a replay of joy, comfort, and belonging. If they ran with you, they may run again in their sleep. If you spoke softly to them, your voice might echo faintly in their dream world. Those tiny twitches, the paddling paws, the flicking tail, the quiet huffs of breath, are pieces of that dream spilling into reality. Maybe they're chasing a ball through some remembered park. Maybe they're lying beside you again, resting in that same safe warmth. Dogs don't separate memory and emotion the way humans do. For them, dreaming isn't escape, it's return. In a study at Harvard, scientists observed that a dog's REM cycles carry emotional charge, not just motion replay. That means when they dream, they don't just see, they feel. The comfort of your scent, the excitement of play, the trust of your presence, all weave into the movie flickering behind their eyes. There's something quietly beautiful about that. Even in rest, even in darkness, their minds find their way back to you. The connection doesn't pause when their eyes close, it simply drifts into another world. And maybe that's why some dogs let out a soft sigh before they fall asleep, the same sound humans make when their thoughts fade into dreaming. It's a signal to the brain. The world is safe enough to wander now. So next time you see your dog twitching gently in its sleep, try not to wake it. You might just be in the middle of its favorite story, one where every step, every scent, every heartbeat leads back to you. Because for dogs, dreams are not about fantasy or escape. They're about remembering love. Before sleeping, some dogs perform a curious ritual. They wander around the room, nose to the floor, picking up their favorite toy, maybe a sock, maybe something that once smelled like you. One by one, they bring their treasures together in a pile, a small private gathering before the night begins. To us, it's endearing. To them, it's instinct. Long before dogs had homes or toy baskets, their wild ancestors lived by a simple rule: keep the pack close. In a world without walls, warmth and safety depended on proximity. Wolves and early dogs would nudge their pups or siblings into a tight huddle before lying down. It was both protection and affection, the night's last gesture of care. That same impulse, tucked deep into canine memory, still flickers to life each evening. Modern dogs no longer have a pack of their own species to herd, but instinct doesn't vanish just because the world has changed. So instead, they gather what they have: soft toys, blankets, bits of clothing. They organize their little circle of comfort and then curl into the center, as if guarding something precious. It's the same choreography, just with gentler materials. Breeds with herding heritage feel this pull even more strongly. Border collies, Australian shepherds, corgis, all descendants of working dogs whose purpose was to gather, protect, and manage movement. When night falls, their ancient blueprint whispers, collect, secure, rest. But even dogs with no herding lineage might show this behavior, guided more by emotion than ancestry. To them, the act is soothing. It brings order to the quiet. Sometimes what looks like play is really a kind of meditation. A dog nudging its plush rabbit into place, circling around the pile, then lying beside it. It's expressing security in the only language it remembers. It's the canine version of tucking yourself under a blanket, making sure the lights are off, the doors are locked, and the world in its proper place. There's a gentle rhythm in the way dogs prepare for rest. Each movement slows the heartbeat a little, settles the mind a little, until finally everything is where it should be. The toys, the scents, the warmth, all gathered like a miniature pack of belonging. If your dog does this before bed, know that it's not random or silly. It's history being played out in miniature, a link between wilderness and comfort, a quiet echo of nights long ago when only closeness meant safety. And as your dog finally curls up beside that small pile of treasures, eyes fluttering shut, it isn't guarding mere objects. It's guarding memories of pack, of warmth, of love, retold every evening through gentle, familiar ritual. So let them herd their toys. It's their bedtime story, written not in words, but in the language of care that's older than humanity itself. There's a moment every dog owner learns to love, that tiny, breathy sigh just before their companion drifts into sleep. It's quiet enough to miss if you're not listening to it, but once you notice it, you never forget it. A soft exhale, long and unhurried, like the sound of the world letting go. That's the puppy sigh. It isn't a sound of boredom or sadness. It's the opposite, a whisper of peace. Biologists call it a parasympathetic release. When a dog feels completely safe, its body switches from alert to rest mode. The heartbeat slows, muscles loosen, and breathing deepens. That gentle sigh is the last note in the body's lullaby, the physical proof that every instinct agrees we're safe here. In the wild, rest was dangerous. A wolf or early dog could never fully relax unless the pack surrounded it. Only when others stood guard could it release that long breath of trust. Today, that same ancient reflex survives in living rooms and on quiet bedsides. When your dog sighs beside you, it's expressing the same feeling its ancestors did when huddled inside a warm den, the pure relief of safety. Many dogs won't make that sound unless they're near someone they trust. You might notice it after you turn off the lights or when you settle on the couch for the night. They glance at you, circle once, lie down, and then that sigh. It's as if their body is telling you, "You're here. I can rest now." That single sound holds an entire language. It's the sound of a guard dog lowering its watch. It's the echo of instincts quieted by love. And it's one of the few moments where you can physically hear a living being's contentment. Some scientists even compare it to the way humans exhale before deep sleep or after a comforting embrace. It's not conscious. It's a surrender to calm. The brain, satisfied that nothing needs protecting, lets the lungs release the last bit of tension trapped from the day. If you listen closely, you might realize you sigh too when you're at peace. Maybe your rhythms match without either of you trying. Maybe that's the secret bond. Two creatures breathing in sync, reminding each other it's okay to relax. So the next time you hear that tiny sound beside you, that soft humph that fades into silence, remember what it means. It's not just air leaving a body. It's trust leaving its guard. It's safe turned into sound. And as your dog's breathing evens out into sleep, the room feels a little softer. Two beings sharing the same peace, one sighing out relief, the other listening with quiet gratitude. Because sometimes love doesn't bark or wag its tail. Sometimes it just exhales. Sometimes the room goes so still you can hear two sets of lungs working together, one a little faster, one a little deeper, until slowly they begin to match. That's what happens when a dog settles against you and the air between you becomes shared. Without training, without words, their breathing finds yours. Researchers call it entrainment, the natural alignment of rhythms between bonded beings. It's the same phenomenon that makes a mother's heartbeat calm her infant, or how close friends unconsciously fall into step while walking. For dogs and their humans, it happens most often in moments of rest. A heartbeat felt through a blanket, a chest rising against a paw, signals exchanged not through language, but through biology. When your body slows down, your dog's nervous system senses it. Their own heartbeat drops to meet yours. Their breath shortens or lengthens to echo your pattern. Inside their chest, the rhythm adjusts. Inhale, exhale, pause, sinking to the one they trust. To them, that shared stillness means safety. To you, it means comfort you didn't know had a pulse. This connection didn't begin in living rooms. In the wild, early dogs slept pressed against packmates, reading safety through breath and heat. A calm rhythm meant all was well. A quickened pace meant danger. Over thousands of years, as dogs became companions, that instinct shifted from pack to person. Now your calm becomes their calm. Your rest tells them it's okay to sleep. Scientists measuring oxytocin, the bonding hormone, find it rises in both species during quiet contact. The result is a feedback loop of peace. Your touch slows their heart. Their presence slows yours. Two separate bodies, one shared rhythm. You can test it if you like. Next time your dog lies beside you, breathe a little slower. Don't speak. Don't move much. Just let the moment breathe for you both. Within a minute or two, you'll feel it. The gentle synchronization, the pause between breaths matching your own. It's as if the air has agreed to be kind to both of you at once. There's something timeless about that. In a world full of noise and hurry, two creatures have found the oldest form of connection, breathing together. No commands, no expectations, just the quiet acknowledgement of existence side by side. So tonight, as you lie there and your dog curls closer, notice the rhythm. Listen to the slow inhale, the shared exhale, the space between. That's not just breathing. That's trust turned into music. A duet only the heart can hear.
For a dog, time doesn't tick. It fades. While you count hours and minutes, your dog measures absence in something invisible. The quiet unraveling of your scent. Every room you've walked through, every pillow you've touched, holds a trace of you. But as the air shifts and dust settles, that trace begins to thin. To a dog, that fading smell is the clock. Scientists once puzzled over how dogs could tell when their owners were coming home. Some dogs sit by the door every evening, long before footsteps or engines are heard. The answer wasn't magic. It was chemistry. When you leave in the morning, your scent lingers heavily in the house. As the day passes, it disperses, molecule by molecule, softening, stretching thinner across the air. Your dog senses those changes with astonishing precision, and somewhere deep in its mind, a signal forms. It's been a while now. A dog's nose is a time machine built from scent. They don't remember by numbers, but by aroma, fresh, fading, or gone. They can tell how long food has sat out, how old a trail is, or how many hours have passed since you left, all from the changing texture of smell. It's a sense of time written in air rather than on a clock face. And the emotional side of this is quietly beautiful. To a dog, missing you isn't abstract, it's literal. Your scent doesn't vanish all at once. It drifts away slowly, like a candle's smoke fading from a room. As that scent weakens, it feels to them as though you're walking further and further away, even if you're just at work. The moment the scent is almost gone, their waiting begins in earnest. But here's the part that feels like poetry. When you return, and that door opens, you bring the missing piece of the world back with you. Your smell rushes in again, fresh, strong, alive, and every nerve in their nose lights up in recognition. It's not just joy, it's relief. The air makes sense again. In one experiment, scientists let dogs smell the air samples from their owner's home after different amounts of time. Dogs reacted most strongly when the scent was older, proof that they could feel the passage of time through smell decay. For them, long day and short nap are both written in scent, not in seconds. So tonight, as your dog curls beside something that smells like you, a sweater, a blanket, maybe the space you always sit, remember what it means. That scent is their anchor, their sun and moon, their measure of how long the world has been without you. To love a dog is to live in their version of time, one where absence has a fragrance, and every return smells like forever. There's a certain stillness that comes with an aging dog. The puppy that once bounced through every doorway now curls up sooner, sighs deeper, and spends long hours in peaceful silence. Some people call it slowing down, but in truth, it's healing. A quiet kind of work the body does while it sleeps. As dogs grow older, time begins to leave its gentle marks. Worn joints, tired muscles, and tiny aches that once would have gone unnoticed. Every jump, every sprint, every joyful stretch across the years adds up. And just like us, dogs need rest to restore what life slowly wears away. During deep sleep, their bodies switch into repair mode. Inside that stillness, cells begin to mend. Inflammation eases, and the slow rhythm of breathing helps move oxygen to tissues that need it most. Growth hormones, the same ones that once built muscle and bone, are released again, not for growth this time, but for recovery. The body whispers, "Let's fix what's tired." That's why older dogs nap more often and for longer stretches. It's not laziness or boredom. It's nature's medicine, a cycle of rest, restoration, and renewal. When they lie still, their joints soak in the calm the way dry earth drinks rain. Even short naps throughout the day help relieve pressure, keeping their bodies flexible for one more walk, one more wag, one more stretch into the sunlight. It's easy to miss how purposeful that rest really is. We see a sleeping dog and assume the world has grown smaller for them. But inside that sleep, so much is happening. Every deep breath smooths the edges of pain. Every slow heartbeat tells the bones and muscles to soften. In those quiet hours, the body is working to stay whole. Comfort makes this process even stronger. A soft bed, a warm blanket, or the familiar sound of your voice nearby can deepen their rest, easing tension they didn't know they carried. The more secure they feel, the deeper their body dares to relax. Even your presence, that shared warmth and scent, helps lower their stress, letting sleep become true healing. And maybe that's what wisdom looks like in dogs, knowing when to run and when to rest, when to chase joy and when to curl up and let the world mend itself around you. They don't feel guilt for slowing down. They don't resist the need for stillness. They simply listen to what their body asks for, something we humans often forget to do. So if your older dog sleeps more these days, let it. Each nap is a quiet act of care, a small miracle of repair unfolding beneath fur and breath. They aren't fading, they're renewing, one dream at a time. And when they wake, stretching gently before finding your eyes, they carry with them all the peace that only true rest can give. Watch a Labrador step into a lake, and you'll see something ancient awaken. The first splash is playful, the second sure, and by the third they're gliding, not just swimming, but returning to a memory written in their paws. Beneath that fur, the skin between their toes stretches like a soft fan, spreading wide with each stroke. It's not an accident of design, it's ancestry. Long before they became family companions, dogs like Labradors, Newfoundlands, and Portuguese water dogs were workers of the sea. They hauled fishing nets through cold Atlantic waters, carried messages between boats, and even leapt into the surf to save drowning sailors. To do that kind of work, they needed power, but also grace. Their webbed feet became the perfect tool, catching water the way wings catch air. With each push, those subtle membranes gave them the strength to glide rather than thrash, to move like creatures half of land and half of sea. Even today, you can see traces of that heritage. When a Labrador bounds through puddles, or a Newfoundland trots confidently into the waves, those thin webs quietly unfold, guiding each motion with smooth precision. Nature built them for this, for work that required loyalty, courage, and calm. The advantage doesn't end in water. Webbing also helps these breeds cross snow, sand, and mud without sinking. It acts like natural snowshoes, distributing weight so every step stays steady. It's a quiet kind of genius, evolution sculpting beauty from necessity. And yet, there's something poetic about how these dogs carry the past in such a small, unnoticed detail. Most people never see those webs unless the paw is lifted gently into the light. But inside that simple shape lives a story of storms, boats, and human partnership stretching back centuries. When a Newfoundland paddles through icy surf, it's performing a ritual its ancestors practiced every day, not just swimming, but working with the water. Even the rhythm of their movements feels meditative. In and out, push and pull, ripples spreading wider until the lake mirrors the sky. When they swim beside you, there's no rush, only quiet confidence. It's as if the water recognizes them. So the next time your dog wades into a pond or leaves wet footprints on the shore, take a moment to look closely. See how the toes spread, how the surface parts easily beneath them. That's not just anatomy, it's memory. The ocean may be far away, but a piece of it still lives in their feet. And as they shake off the droplets, tail wagging, eyes bright, they're not just drying off, they're carrying the spirit of water back to land, calm, strong, and endlessly loyal. Touch a dog's nose, and you'll feel something cool and damp, like dew before sunrise. That little bit of moisture isn't random. It's part of what makes their world so much richer than ours. Where we see shapes and colors, dogs smell stories.
And every one of those stories begins on the surface of that wet, glistening nose. A dog's nose is one of nature's quiet masterpieces. That thin layer of moisture on its surface has a purpose. It captures the invisible particles drifting through the air. Each molecule of scent clings to the dampness like dust on morning grass. Then, with each soft inhale, those particles are drawn inside, where millions of receptors wait to read them like letters in a secret language. Humans have about 5 million scent receptors. Dogs can have over 300 million. Their entire nasal system is designed to collect, separate, and analyze smell with precision that almost defies imagination. The outer layer doesn't just hold scent, it enhances it, dissolving faint traces so they can be detected even hours or days later. A single breath for them holds more information than a photograph does for us. Even the way dogs breathe is engineered for scent. When they sniff, the air enters and exits through separate paths, one for taking in new smells, one for exhaling. This clever design keeps fresh scent particles swirling through their nose without interruption. And when the outer layer dries, they simply lick their noses to restore that perfect damp surface. Every lick resets the instrument, making sure no detail of the world goes unnoticed. That's why a dog knows who's been at the door before you do. It's why they can find a lost toy buried in the grass, or sense a familiar person approaching long before they appear. The world for them is written not in sights or sounds, but in layers of invisible perfume. Earth, wind, skin, and time. There's poetry in how this tiny bit of moisture connects them to everything around them. When a dog raises its head and sniffs the air, it's not just curiosity, it's awareness. It's communication with the unseen. They can smell the rain before it falls, the footsteps of someone familiar, even the faint sweetness of flowers opening somewhere nearby. So the next time your dog presses that cold, wet nose against your hand, think of what it means. That little touch is more than affection, it's connection. It's the same tool that lets them navigate their entire world, offered to you in greeting. Their nose doesn't just smell life, it listens to it. Each breath, each damp sniff is the soundless way they understand the world and remind you that in their quiet way they sense every trace of love carried through the air. If you look closely enough, a dog's nose is a tiny universe. Every ridge, bump, and swirl tells a story. It glistens when they breathe, cools as they sniff, and leaves behind faint prints on windows and hands. What most people never realize is that no two of those prints are the same. Each dog carries a signature written in texture, a pattern as unique as a human fingerprint. Under the soft moisture of the surface, the skin of a dog's nose is a landscape of ridges and valleys. These intricate lines form before the puppy is even born, shaped by subtle changes in skin growth and pressure inside the womb. Just like fingerprints in people, the process is random, guided by chance as much as by genes. The result is something nature never repeats. Even two dogs from the same litter, almost identical in every other way, will have completely different nose prints. For scientists and breeders, this individuality isn't just poetic, it's practical.
Some kennel clubs have used nose prints to identify dogs, pressing the moist surface gently onto a piece of paper and revealing the delicate maze beneath. It's more accurate than a tag, safer than a collar. In that swirl of dark patterns lies proof of identity, silent, natural, and permanent. But beyond the science, there's something quietly beautiful about the idea itself, that each time your dog presses its nose against your palm, it's signing its name in scent and warmth, a personal mark shared only with you, invisible to the eye, but known by the heart. The nose isn't just a tool for smell, it's a story of individuality hidden in plain sight. The same nose that guides them through rain and sunlight, that recognizes your scent from across a field, also carries this secret fingerprint. It's a perfect symbol of how dogs live, every one shaped by instinct and biology, yet still entirely their own. Next time your dog nudges your hand before sleeping, know that you're touching something truly singular, the only nose of its kind on earth, quietly breathing beside you. If you've ever buried your face in a dog's fur, you know that smell. Faintly warm, earthy, and familiar. It's the scent of home, though you might not realize how literal that is. Deep inside a dog's ears, near the base of the canal, tiny glands release oils that carry a subtle fragrance. To us, it's nearly invisible. To them, it's identity. It's peaceful. Every dog has a slightly different version of this scent. It's formed by a mix of oils and microscopic secretions from small sebaceous glands. Together, they create a signature aroma that no two dogs share, their own natural perfume, made by the body, for the body. When they rest, groom, or curl into sleep, that scent surrounds them, calming the instincts that once kept their ancestors alert through the night. In the wild, scent was everything. Packs identified each other not by sight, but by smell. A familiar scent meant safety, a signal that everyone was accounted for, the world in order. A strange scent meant caution, even danger. So that faint ear gland aroma became more than just biology. It was communication. It told each dog, this is who I am, and this is who belongs with me. Modern dogs still respond to it, though the reasons have softened with time. When a dog folds its head onto its paws or nuzzles into another dog's ear, it's often inhaling that soothing smell. It's an unconscious ritual of reassurance, like pulling a blanket a little closer. The scent reminds them that they're safe in their own skin. Some scientists describe it as olfactory self-recognition, the idea that dogs, like us, draw comfort from the scent that represents them. When they come home from the park or settle beside you after a long day, that quiet, warm fragrance of their own ears tells their nervous system you've returned to your place in the world. Even the act of scratching behind their ears, that favorite spot they always lean into, helps release a hint of that scent. It's why your touch there often earns a slow blink, a sigh, or that soft, leaning weight of contentment. In a way, you're helping them breathe themselves in. You might not notice it, but to your dog, the air around its ears is full of familiarity,
a subtle, invisible comfort. It's their heartbeat in scent form, constant and personal. So tonight, when your dog nestles beside you and you catch that faint, warm smell of fur and sleep, remember what it means. It's not just an odor, it's memory, identity, and peace, the perfume of safety that follows them everywhere, whispering softly, "I'm here, I'm me, and I'm home." There's a moment every dog owner knows. You're speaking softly to your dog, and suddenly its head tilts to one side. The ears perk up, the eyes grow wider, and for a second it looks as though they're truly trying to understand every word. It's such a simple gesture, yet it feels so human, like they're listening not just with their ears, but with their heart. That head tilt isn't random. It's actually the body's way of fine-tuning hearing. Dogs' ears are shaped to catch sound from specific directions, and when they tilt their head, they're adjusting the angle of those outer flaps, called pinnae, to better locate the source. The movement helps them separate your voice from background noise, focusing on the tones that matter most. But here's where it becomes extraordinary. Dogs aren't just hearing sounds, they're hearing feelings. Studies from canine behavior researchers show that dogs react differently to emotional speech. They can distinguish between happiness, sadness, excitement, or calm simply by the pitch and rhythm of your voice. When they tilt their head, they're trying to match what they hear with what they already know about you, your expressions, your energy, your mood. Some scientists also believe the head tilt helps dogs see better. Because their muscles can partially block their vision, turning the head gives them a clearer view of your face, letting them combine what they hear with what they see. It's like adjusting a camera focus, aligning sound and sight into one clear emotional picture. And then there's the unspoken bond. Over thousands of years of companionship, dogs learned that humans adore that tilt. We smile, we coo, we soften our voices when they do. So part instinct and part empathy, the behavior became a bridge, their way of showing attentiveness and connection. They've learned that turning their head slightly is how they can speak without words. When you tell your dog a story or ask if they want to go for a walk and that head leans sideways, you're watching communication evolve in real time. They're not just hearing what you say, they're decoding how you feel. Your tone becomes their translation. It's humbling, really, that an animal can care that much about understanding us, that somewhere inside that simple motion lives a deep desire to connect. A dog doesn't tilt its head for noise, it tilts it for you. So next time you see that familiar sideways glance, pause for a moment. Let the silence stretch. Know that you're being listened to in a way words could never earn, with instinct, patience, and trust. Because in that gentle tilt lies something ancient and tender. A creature who has learned not just to hear the sound of your voice, but to listen for the music of your heart. A dog doesn't need words to know when your heart is heavy. Long before you sigh or wipe your eyes, before you even realize you're sad, they already know. They lift their head, sniff the air, and something in them shifts, a quiet alertness, a soft concern. They can smell your sorrow, literally. Every emotion changes the chemistry of your body. When you're happy, your hormones flood your bloodstream differently than when you're scared or calm.
Sadness, in particular, alters the balance of stress chemicals like cortisol. Those changes subtly affect your sweat and even your skin's natural scent, invisible to us, but not to a dog. With over 300 million scent receptors, a dog's nose can read the air the way we read faces. It deciphers layers of information we could never imagine. They can tell the difference between laughter and tears, not because of tone or posture, but because sadness has a scent. Scientists have tested this by collecting samples of human sweat produced during fear, joy, or sadness. When dogs were introduced to each one, their behavior changed. Around sad scents, they moved slower, approached gently, and displayed calming signals, a lowered head, soft eyes, or quiet closeness. It wasn't training, it was empathy in motion. Over thousands of years beside us, dogs have learned to translate these signals into action. They approach when we're low, lean in when we're lonely, stay near when silence feels too loud. For them, comfort is instinct. They don't analyze or ask why. They simply know. When your dog rests its chin on your lap after a long day, it isn't guessing that you're upset. It's responding to the invisible map your body is giving off, the faint change in smell that says, "I'm not okay today." And their answer every time is presence. No words, no noise, just warmth. That's part of why the human-dog bond runs deeper than language. To them, love isn't about phrases or gestures. It's chemical, literal, carried through every breath you take. The air between you carries your story, and they read it like poetry. And maybe that's why dogs can calm us in ways even people can't. When they sense sadness, their steady breathing slows ours. Their warmth steadies our nerves. They remind us, without saying a thing, that someone still understands. So the next time your dog curls closer when you're quiet, know what's really happening. They aren't just keeping you company. They're reading your heart through scent and answering in the only language they need. Because to them, sadness isn't weakness. It's simply something that needs warmth. And in their world, love has always been something you can smell. When the lights go out, your dog doesn't panic. While our human eyes strain against the dark, theirs adjust to a different kind of vision, one that doesn't depend on sight at all. In the still air of night, they see through touch, through movement, through whispers of air that only their whiskers can hear. Those whiskers, called vibrissae, aren't ordinary hairs. Each one is rooted deep into the skin, surrounded by a rich cluster of nerves and blood vessels. Together, they act like tiny radar antennas, picking up even the faintest changes in air pressure. When air currents move, bouncing off walls, furniture, or your feet, the whiskers bend ever so slightly. That movement sends signals straight to the brain, creating a quiet mental map of the space around them. It's an ancient skill, born from nights in the wild. Long before streetlights and sofas, dogs' ancestors had to hunt, move, and survive in near darkness. Sight could fail, sound could deceive, but air always told the truth. The shape of a cave, the presence of prey, the closeness of another creature, all revealed by how the air shifted across the tips of those whiskers. Even now, your dog still uses that hidden sense. when it walks carefully through a dim hallway or hesitates before turning a corner, its whiskers are painting a picture in silence. They tell it how close the wall is, whether a table leg is near, even how wide the doorway might be. It's a kind of touch that doesn't require contact, a soft perception of space. Scientists say whiskers give dogs almost a sixth sense of their surroundings. They're so sensitive they can detect air movement as subtle as a few millimeters per second. That's why a dog can chase a ball at dusk without tripping, or turn its head just before you reach out to pet it. They're reading the invisible, the gentle breeze that your motion leaves behind. And perhaps that's why they seem so calm in the dark. For dogs, darkness isn't blindness. It's quiet information. They don't fear what they can't see. They simply switch senses. Where our world ends in shadow, theirs continues in motion. If you watch your dog at night, you'll sometimes see its whiskers twitch, tiny movements that look like dreaming. But even while awake, those whiskers are always awake too, listening for the smallest hint of change. There's something peaceful about that. The idea that even in darkness, life has its own way of finding light. Dogs remind us that not every kind of seeing happens with eyes. Some kinds happen through trust, patience, and the air itself. So when your dog moves confidently through a dark room, know what's really guiding it. Not sight, not sound, but the hush between them, the soft rhythm of whiskers reading the air, one breath at a time.
There's a kind of magic in quiet moments. When the room is still, the world slows down, and you let out a long sigh without even thinking. And if you listen closely, sometimes your dog will sigh too. Not right away, not perfectly timed, but close enough to feel like an echo. A soft breath following yours, as if to say, I know that feeling. Dogs are natural mirrors of our emotions. They study our movements, our tone, our breathing, the subtle rhythms that reveal how we're doing long before we say a word. When we sigh, it's often our body's way of releasing something invisible, stress, weariness, or quiet relief. To a dog, that sound is familiar. They've heard it 100 times in 100 moods, and somehow their body responds in kind. Scientists believe this gentle mimicry is tied to something called emotional synchronization. Just like how friends might start walking in step, or partners might breathe in sync while sleeping, dogs subconsciously adjust their own patterns to match ours. They don't plan it. It's instinct, empathy written into their muscles and breath. Inside their brain, mirror neurons fire when they observe human behavior, neurons that help them feel what we feel. So when you exhale slowly, releasing the day, your dog's body reads that rhythm and follows. The sigh they give isn't boredom, it's empathy in its purest form, soundless understanding. It's easy to miss how profound that is. Out of every species on Earth, dogs alone have evolved to attune so closely to us that even our exhalations become shared. When you sit on the couch after a long day and your dog settles beside you, it's not just keeping company, it's harmonizing, body to body, mood to mood. You can test it in your own quiet way. Take a deep breath beside your dog, then let it out softly. Watch the chest rise, then fall. If you're lucky,
You'll hear that faint sigh a few seconds later, like the world's gentlest duet. It's small, but it's real. Over time, these moments weave the silent language between you. Your dog learns that your calm means safety, your stillness means peace, and when you sigh, it's a signal that the day is done, the noise is over, and it's okay to rest. So tonight, if you sigh and hear that familiar soft breath follow, don't brush it off as coincidence. It's not imitation, it's companionship. A quiet, faithful heart reminding you, I feel you, I'm here, and we can let go together. Because sometimes love doesn't bark or wag. Sometimes it simply sighs back. In the middle of a busy city, cars rush by, lights flicker red and green, and somewhere on the corner, a dog waits. Not on a leash, not commanded by anyone, just watching. The crowd begins to move, and only then does the dog step forward, crossing neatly among the people. No panic, no hesitation, just quiet timing. Across the world, from Moscow to Istanbul to Tokyo, researchers have documented this remarkable behavior. Street dogs living entirely without owners have learned the unwritten rules of human life. They know how to cross roads safely. They wait for traffic lights, move with pedestrians, and even avoid jaywalking. It's not luck, it's learning. Dogs are extraordinary observers. They read gestures, tones, and rhythms the way we read signs. In crowded cities, these stray dogs have watched humans for generations. They've seen what happens when people step into the street too early, and what happens when they wait. Over time, they've understood. The light changes, the cars stop, the humans move. That's the rhythm of safety. In Moscow, scientists filmed street dogs timing their crossings almost perfectly with pedestrian signals. In Istanbul, others noticed dogs waiting beside strangers as if joining a pack just long enough to travel safely across the road. They don't understand the color of the lights. They understand patterns, the cues that tell them when the world allows motion. It's more than intelligence, it's coexistence. These animals have adapted not through force, but through observation. In the chaos of human cities, they've chosen understanding over fear. They trust in our routines, blending quietly into the rhythm of our days. There's something poetic about that. A creature once wild, now navigating civilization with grace and calm. They aren't guided by rules or leashes, but by patience. They wait, they watch, and they cross only when it feels right. In their silence, there's wisdom, the kind that listens before acting. If you ever walk a city street late at night and notice a dog lingering by the curb, watch carefully. You'll see the awareness in its eyes, the stillness before movement. When you step forward, it might step too, not because you lead it, but because it trusts in your understanding of the world you share. That trust is fragile and beautiful. It shows how deeply dogs have learned to live among us, not as intruders, but as neighbors. They've learned our language without words, our timing without clocks.
So the next time you see a dog waiting patiently at a crossing, think about what that moment really means. Intelligence shaped by observation, survival built on peace, and a silent reminder that wisdom doesn't always bark or beg. Sometimes it just waits for the light to change.
Every time your dog walks across the floor, something invisible happens. With each soft step, tiny glands between their paw pads release faint chemical messages, little traces of scent, too subtle for humans to notice. To us, it's just a walk. To them, it's communication. It's comfortable. Those glands produce pheromones, natural chemical signals that carry emotion and identity. When your dog moves through a room, the scent trails behind them, a quiet reminder to their own senses, I've been here. This space is mine. It's safe. In the wild, that trail served many purposes. Helping pack mates follow one another, guiding stragglers home, and marking boundaries without ever needing to bark or fight. But even for the dogs that live peacefully in our homes today, the instinct remains. You'll see it when your dog circles before lying down, or paces a little before finally curling into a ball. They're not restless. They're laying down invisible comfort, reinforcing their scent, so that when they rest, the air already smells like safety. The science behind it is quiet but beautiful. Each paw pad has sweat glands mixed with sebaceous or oil glands that release those pheromones. The combination creates a personal signature scent unique to every dog. Other dogs can read it like a story. Who passed by? How long ago? Even what mood they were in. For them, the world is full of these invisible footprints. Imagine walking through a forest where every step leaves a piece of your warmth behind. A trail that tells your friends where you've been and reminds you of home when you return. That's what it's like for dogs. Every surface holds memories they can smell. A path walked yesterday, a nap spot loved for years, a doorway that always leads to you. This scent marking isn't dominance, it's reassurance. Dogs mark not just territory, but emotion. A place scented with their own pheromones feels familiar, and familiarity feels safe. That's why they often rest where they've walked most, or why they follow the same paths through the yard. Their comfort is literally mapped by scent. When they walk beside you, their paws mixing with the scent of your skin, your home, and the air. They're weaving a shared trail, a living bond that only they can smell. In their world, that's love. Two presences mingling on the ground, side by side, invisible but unforgettable. So tonight, when your dog settles after a slow circle, paws tucked beneath them, remember what they've just done. They've left a piece of themselves around them, a small declaration to the air, I'm safe, I'm home, I can rest now. It's one of the gentlest truths about dogs. They never really leave just footprints. They leave reassurance, woven softly into the world beneath them. There's a reason it feels easier to fall asleep when your dog curls up beside you. The room grows still, the air turns calm, and somewhere in the dark,
You can hear two rhythms slowing together, yours and theirs. What feels like comfort is actually something much deeper. It's your body responding to trust. Scientists have found that sleeping near a dog lowers human blood pressure, slows the heart rate, and eases stress. It isn't just emotional, it's chemical. When you rest beside a creature you love, your brain releases oxytocin, the hormone of affection and safety. That small rush of calm travels through your bloodstream, gently telling your heart, "You can relax now." Dogs feel it too. Their own breathing evens out as they match your rhythm. This shared pattern, the slow rise and fall of chest and breath, activates something called the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's built-in switch for peace. It's the opposite of fight or flight. It's rest and restore. Two species, different in so many ways, but syncing through something as simple as breath. In the wild, sleeping close meant survival. Packs rested together for warmth, safety, and reassurance. Today, that instinct lives on, softened into companionship. When your dog chooses to sleep beside you, it's not a habit, it's trust. And when your body responds by calming down, it's not a coincidence. It's ancient biology remembering what safety feels like. People who share their bed or room with a dog often report lower anxiety and better sleep quality. Some say the sound of gentle breathing helps them drift off. Others feel comforted by the quiet weight at their feet, a reminder that they're not alone. Even studies using heart monitors show the same pattern. The longer a human sleeps near their dog, the slower their heart beats through the night. It's easy to forget how powerful touch and presence can be. In a world full of alarms and bright screens, a dog brings the oldest kind of calm, wordless and steady. No technology, no effort, just the soft hum of companionship. You can test it yourself. Lie down beside your dog, breathe deeply, and match your pace to theirs. Feel the warmth under your hand, the rhythm of life that's been by your side through countless nights. Slowly, your pulse will begin to follow theirs. It's strange and beautiful that two hearts, so different in shape and size, can learn the same language of peace. Maybe that's what love really is, bodies teaching each other how to rest. So tonight, as you drift toward sleep and hear that faint sigh from the foot of the bed, remember, your dog isn't just keeping you company. They're helping your heart find its quiet. Two beings, one rhythm, a shared lullaby written in breath.
Long before thunder rolls across the sky, your dog already knows it's coming. While the world still feels calm, they may lift their head, twitch an ear, or glance toward the window, listening to something you can't hear yet. For them, the storm has already begun, carried on vibrations too low and faint for us to notice. A dog's hearing is extraordinary. Where human ears catch sounds between 20 and 20,000 hertz, a dog's range stretches far wider, from deep, ground-shaking rumbles to sharp, high-pitched frequencies that vanish into air. Thunder doesn't start loud. It starts as a whisper in the distance, a low-frequency wave rolling through the ground and sky. Long before the first flash, those vibrations reach your dog's ears, humming through the floorboards like a quiet warning. They don't just hear it, they feel it.
Tiny muscles inside the ear adjust to catch faint tremors, while sensitive nerves in their paws pick up the subtle shift of air pressure and static. The scent of ozone, that crisp, metallic smell that arrives before rain, adds another clue. Together, these sensations tell a story. Something powerful is on its way. In the wild, this awareness meant survival. Wolves and early dogs learned to read nature's signals, retreating to caves or dens long before storms broke. It wasn't fear, it was intuition, the body's way of listening to the earth. Even today, that instinct remains. When your dog paces before thunder, hides beneath a blanket, or presses close to you, they're not just reacting to sound, they're responding to ancient memory. Researchers studying canine behavior found that dogs show signs of stress up to 30 minutes before a storm reaches their area. Elevated heart rates, restlessness, and even panting can appear while the sky is still clear. They're feeling the world change on a frequency we've forgotten how to hear. And yet there's something quietly beautiful in that sensitivity. To them, the storm isn't just noise. It's energy, life, and movement. The sky speaks, and they answer. When lightning finally flashes, they already know the rhythm, the pattern, the breath of the weather itself. If your dog seeks you out during a storm, it's because you've become their shelter. In your heartbeat, they find steadiness. In your calm voice, they find grounding against the chaos outside. Their ancient instinct meets your modern comfort, and together you weather it as one small pack under the same trembling sky. So the next time you see your dog stir before a storm, remember, they aren't afraid of the dark. They're simply tuned in to the world's quietest frequencies, listening to the conversation between earth and air.
In the quiet of night, when your dog's breathing turns slow and steady, something beautiful begins to happen. A paw twitches. The tail flicks once, maybe twice. A faint sound escapes, half bark, half sigh. They're dreaming, not of fear or confusion, but of joy, fragments of memory stitched into soft bursts of sleep. Dogs dream much like we do. Their brains cycle through stages of sleep, moving from deep rest into REM, the phase where the mind begins to replay the day's stories. But while humans tend to dream in long, winding sequences, dogs dream in shorter bursts. Dozens of tiny dreams scattered through the night, each one lasting just a few minutes, bright and fleeting like fireflies in the dark. Scientists studying canine sleep patterns found that the electrical activity in a dog's brain during REM mirrors that of humans, the same flickers of memory, emotion, and imagination. It's as though the mind is taking a quiet walk through the day just lived. For dogs, those walks are full of movement, chasing, running, greeting, playing. Their dreams echo the happiest parts of their waking hours. A puppy, fresh from discovery, dreams the most. Their brains are still busy learning the world. Every smell, every sound, every kind touch. When they sleep, their minds organize it all, practicing again and again the things that brought them joy. That's why young dogs twitch more. They're reliving wonder, one paw at a time.
Older dogs dream differently. Their sleep comes slower, their bodies stiller, but their minds remain tender. They revisit familiar moments, a park, a voice, a face. Scientists believe dogs dream most vividly of the people they love. Your scent, your laughter, the sound of your footsteps, these things weave into the calm fabric of their dreams. In that world behind closed eyes, you're still walking together, still playing, still home. Sometimes when you see your dog's paws move as if running, it's not random muscle activity. It's a story unfolding. The grass is beneath them again. The ball is in the air. The sky is bright. Their tails wag and sleep because joy, even remembered, still stirs the body. There's something deeply peaceful in knowing that their dreams are gentle ones, not of worry, but of love. The life you share doesn't end when the day does. It continues behind those slow, fluttering eyelids, safe and familiar. So when you see your dog twitch and sigh softly in the dark, smile. Somewhere in their dream, you exist exactly as they remembered you. Warm, kind, constant. In their world of short, bright dreams, happiness never fades. It just rests, waiting for morning.
When you leave the house, your dog doesn't just miss you, it misses your scent. That invisible warmth you leave behind in the air, the quiet trail woven into fabric and floor. To us, it's nothing. To them, it's everything. A dog's world is built from smell. Every person, every place, every moment carries a scent story, and yours is their favorite one. It's the perfume of belonging, a mix of skin, soap, and 1,000 tiny traces of your life. When you're gone, that scent becomes their comfort. Scientists have tested this with simple experiments. Dogs left alone in rooms with 3 items, a stranger's clothing, a neutral cloth, and one of their owner's worn shirts, always chose the one that smelled like home. Heart monitors showed slower beats, cortisol levels dropped, and restless pacing eased. The familiar scent quieted their nerves better than any command ever could. To a dog, your scent is a presence that doesn't fade when you walk out the door. They can follow it like a memory. On your couch, in your sheets, in the shirt you left draped over a chair, your dog can still find you. It's why they curl up where you last sat, or nuzzle the sleeve you left draped over a chair. That smell tells them the world is still okay. You still exist somewhere nearby. Dogs live so much of their emotional life through scent. What you feel, they can smell. Happiness, calm, fear, or fatigue. And when you leave behind an article of clothing, you're giving them something more powerful than an object. You're giving them invisible reassurance. I'll be back. In their quiet moments alone, they'll bury their nose into the fabric, breathing you in. To us, it's simple. To them, it's a lifeline, a heartbeat made of air. You might think they're being mischievous when they steal your socks or nap on your laundry, but really, they're reaching for comfort the only way they know. Your scent is their tether to calm, their proof of connection, even across time and distance. It's a beautiful reminder that love leaves traces. We carry it in our voices, our warmth, our smell, and they carry it in memory. When you walk through the door again, tail wagging and eyes bright, the smell they held on to comes alive once more, renewed and whole. So the next time you find your dog asleep on your sweater,
or nestled against your pillow, smile. They aren't clinging. They're remembering. They're keeping your scent close until the world feels full again. In the language of dogs, scent is love you can breathe. And even when you're gone, that love never truly leaves the room. Run your hand along a dog's back, and you'll feel more than softness. Beneath your fingertips, the fur does not just grow, it flows. Tiny hairs curve, twist, and spiral in invisible patterns, tracing the silent architecture of the body beneath. Each dog carries its own design, written in swirls of warmth and texture. Fur doesn't grow in straight lines. It follows the movement of muscles, the pull of skin, and the quiet choreography of motion. If you could see a dog's coat under a magnifying glass, you'd notice waves and whirls, little spirals of direction where hairs meet and diverge, forming natural pathways across the body. These patterns aren't random. They begin forming while a puppy is still in the womb, shaped by how the skin stretches as the body grows. The result is a living map, a coat that not only protects but also moves beautifully with every step. Some breeds wear their spirals like signatures. The Rhodesian Ridgeback's famous ridge runs along its spine, where two opposing fur directions meet. Border Collies often have subtle whirls on their shoulders, where the fur seems to swirl like wind. And even the simplest short-haired dog hides tiny vortexes of growth, unseen unless you look closely. Scientists call these formations hair whorls, and they appear in many animals, horses, cows, even humans. But in dogs, they take on a special meaning. The fur's spiral helps guide water off the body, smooths airflow, and even prevents skin irritation from constant movement. It's evolution's quiet design for comfort and grace. What's fascinating is how individual these spirals are. Even dogs of the same breed, born in the same litter, will have different fur patterns. Each coat tells its own subtle story, the way hair curves near the chest, the direction it parts near the tail. It's as personal as a fingerprint, though made not of ridges, but of softness. If you ever watch a dog sleeping, you can sometimes see the light catch these patterns, a shimmer of motion frozen in stillness. The spirals follow the rhythm of the body, like ripples in fur that remember movement long after the dog has gone still. There is something soothing in that, the idea that even rest carries traces of motion, that the body keeps its own quiet artistry. When your dog presses against you, their fur spiraling beneath your hand, you're touching nature's quiet geometry. 1,000 tiny lines curving in harmony, like brushstrokes on living canvas. Every swirl, every wave, every soft ridge is a small echo of the life beneath it, the heartbeat, the warmth, the quiet energy that never really stops moving. So next time your fingers trail through your dog's coat, pause for a moment. Feel the direction of the fur. Notice where it turns, where it flows. You're not just petting softness, you're tracing the design of a story written entirely in spirals. If you've ever watched two dogs meet, you've probably seen it. That sudden dip of the front legs, tail raised high, eyes bright with excitement. It's called the play bow.
But what looks like a simple invitation to fun is actually something much older, a symbol of peace passed down through thousands of years of canine language. In that brief gesture, a dog is saying something remarkably clear. I mean no harm. Before the running and the chasing and the joyful barking, they lower themselves to the ground in a kind of playful humility, a physical way of saying, this is friendly. You can trust me. Wolves did it long before dogs ever knew humans. In the wild, tension could turn dangerous quickly. A misread move could spark a fight, even among packmates. So they developed this universal gesture, the bow, as a prelude to play, a way to separate joy from aggression. When one wolf lowered its front, the other knew what follows isn't battle, but bonding. Over time, that ritual softened into what we see today. Domestic dogs still use the same body language with each other and with us. When your dog bows before you, front low, rump wiggling, eyes waiting, they're not just asking for a game. They're reaffirming connections. It's a peace treaty, signed with movement instead of words. Behavioral scientists have observed that even after rough play, chasing, growling, wrestling, dogs often return to the bow, repeating it to remind one another we're still friends. It's one of the clearest displays of empathy in the animal world, a built-in system of fairness and reassurance. That gesture bridges species, too. Many dogs bow to humans the same way they do to other dogs. When they stretch their front legs and look up at you expectantly, they're not showing submission. They're expressing affection. It's their way of including you in a dance that began long before we could understand it. There's something gentle in the honesty of it. Dogs don't disguise emotion. Their communication is pure physical truth. A wag, a tilt, a bow. Every motion says exactly what it means. And the play bow especially carries a kind of wisdom. Before joy comes trust. Before closeness, reassurance. Next time you see your dog bow, maybe in the yard, maybe right before bounding toward you with a toy, take a second to notice the kindness in it. It's an invitation wrapped in peace, a living echo of a promise made thousands of years ago between species that decided to walk side by side. In their language, the bow says it all. You're safe. I'm happy. Let's share this moment together. Sometimes peace doesn't come from words. It comes from a wag, a tilt, a bow. You've seen it happen before. You yawn, stretch a little, and a moment later your dog does too. Not out of boredom, not from sleepiness alone, but because something deeper connects the two of you. That simple act, the shared yawn, is one of the most subtle ways dogs show empathy. Scientists call it emotional synchronization. It's the gentle art of matching, the way one heartbeat mirrors another, or how two people walking together slowly fall into the same step. Dogs, having lived beside humans for thousands of years, have developed this same rhythm. They don't just watch us, they feel us. When you yawn, your body releases a cascade of signals, a shift in breathing, facial tension, even temperature. Dogs notice every one of them. They're mirror neurons, tiny cells in the brain responsible for empathy and imitation, activate, translating what they see into what they feel. A yawn from you becomes a quiet ripple in them, spreading softly until their mouth opens in response. Studies have tested this connection. When researchers yawned near dogs, only some responded. But when the dog's own owners yawned, people they loved and trusted, the effect nearly doubled. The closer the bond, the stronger the reaction. That's not a coincidence. It's care turned into reflex. For dogs, yawning isn't just a sign of tiredness, it's communication, a way to show calmness, reassurance, or understanding. In a tense situation, one dog's yawn can tell another, "I'm peaceful, there's no threat." When your dog yawns after you, it's their way of matching your energy, of saying, "I'm with you at this moment." It's strangely comforting to think that something so small carries so much meaning. In a world where words can fail, a shared breath, a mirrored sigh can speak volumes. Your yawn tells your body to rest. Your dog's yawn tells you they're resting with you. Imagine it. You're sitting on the couch, the evening quiet and dim. You breathe out, jaw stretching, eyes softening, and beside you, your dog follows. A perfect echo. Not imitation, but alignment. It's your two nervous systems quietly harmonizing, a duet made of oxygen and trust. Some scientists believe contagious yawning is one of the oldest signs of empathy among social creatures, a silent way to stay connected. In dogs, it's proof of how far love can evolve. From wolves who once hunted together to companions who now sleep beside us, the instinct remains to mirror those we belong to. So the next time your dog yawns after you, don't dismiss it as coincidence. Smile instead. You've just witnessed the simplest form of emotional poetry. A quiet, wordless agreement that says, we're tired together, we're calm together, and in this little world we rest as one. Because sometimes love doesn't speak, it just breathes and yawns in sync.
When a dog is at peace, the world softens around them. Their breathing slows, their eyes grow warm and heavy, and if you reach out your hand, you might notice something small. Their nose, cool and damp, brushing gently against your skin. That chill isn't just comfort, it's the body's quiet sign of happiness. A dog's nose is a remarkable instrument. It's one of the most temperature-sensitive parts of their body, alive with blood vessels, nerve endings, and moisture that help regulate heat. When a dog is alert or anxious, blood flow to the nose increases slightly, warming it. But when calm takes over, the opposite happens. The blood vessels relax, and the nose cools, sometimes dropping by just a degree or two. Scientists at Lund University and Utwas-Loren University used thermal cameras to study this phenomenon. They found that when dogs were content, focused, or affectionate, their nose temperature dropped subtly, like a physical sigh. It wasn't a coincidence. It was biology reflecting emotion. That cool nose pressed against your arm or palm is more than a greeting. It's a thermometer of peace. It tells you that your dog feels safe, that the world, for this moment, carries no threat. Their body has let go of tension, and in that relaxation, their temperature shifts toward calm. It's poetic, really, how emotion can change warmth itself. Humans do something similar. When we're nervous, our hands sweat and our faces flush. When we relax, our heartbeat slows and warmth spreads evenly again. Dogs mirror us in their own quiet way, their emotions written in the subtle chill of a nose. Sometimes you'll notice your dog's nose is warmer after play or when they're watching something intently. That's alertness, curiosity. Life is stirring. But later, when the tail slows and the body settles, the cool returns, the mark of a mind at rest. The connection between you and your dog deepens this effect. Studies show that dogs' physiological states can synchronize with their owners. When you're calm, they mirror it. When you're stressed, their body reflects your tension. So when you rest your hand against that cool little nose, you're not just feeling their peace, you're sharing it. It's a quiet exchange that needs no words. Their calm becomes your calm. Their soft exhales steadies yours. Next time your dog nuzzles your hand, that cool, wet nose pressed into your skin, pause for a second. Feel the temperature, the small sign of trust hidden inside it. That chill isn't distant. It's tenderness made physical. The body's way of saying, all is well now, you can rest. Because for them, happiness isn't loud. It's cool, quiet, and found in the stillness beside the ones they love.
If you've ever watched your dog before it settles for the night, you'll notice how deliberate it can be. A slow turn, a pause, a small shuffle of paws, as though it's testing the air, the warmth, the light. Then finally, the sigh and the stillness. What you might not realize is that your dog is reading the moon. Dogs are sensitive to light in ways we rarely notice. Their eyes, tuned to see movement and darkness, can register even the faint shimmer of moonlight spurling across the floor. To us, it's soft and silver. To them, it's a quiet language written in shadows. Many dogs adjust where they sleep depending on where that light falls, turning toward it, away from it, or finding the perfect place between. In the wild, their ancestors used moonlight as both guide and guard. Wolves would rest where light reached them just enough to watch the edges of a clearing, but not so brightly that they stood out to predators. That instinct to balance visibility with safety still lingers in domestic dogs today. Even in a quiet home, a sliver of moonlight through a window can change how they rest. Sometimes they turn away from the glow, tucking their nose under a paw. It's not shyness, it's comfort. Moonlight can reflect off surfaces, soft but steady, and their sensitive eyes pick it up even when closed. Other times, they'll face it directly, watching the faint movement of trees or curtains, as though keeping a gentle watch over the sleeping house. Scientists call this kind of behavior environmental attunement, the natural awareness animals have of their surroundings, even during rest. A dog's body listens not just to sound, but to temperature, scent, and light. The cool angle of moonlight on the floor might draw them to lie there, just as the warm darkness of a corner might invite them another night. What's beautiful is how quiet the instinct has become. What once protected them under vast, open skies now simply helps them find peace beside us. The wild rhythms of nature, light, shadow, motion, still pass through their dreaming bodies, reminding them that the world is alive even when still. If you watch closely, you'll sometimes see it, the faint gleam of silver across their fur as they shift slightly, sighing into a new position. The moon moves,
They follow, not consciously, but deeply, like memory written in light. And maybe that's part of why dogs sleep so peacefully. They trust the night. They've made peace with its rhythm, eyes half open to the world, yet fully at rest within it. So tonight, when moonlight slips into the room and touches the floor beside you, look at your dog. See how the light shapes their sleep, how they find comfort in the glow that has guided their kind for ages. They don't just dream under the moon, they sleep with it. Before you even reach the door, your dog already knows. Somewhere inside the house, ears perk up, head lifts, and the rhythm of your footsteps travels through the floor like a secret message only they can hear. That sound, your sound, is written into their memory more deeply than any command or word ever could. A dog's hearing is astonishingly sharp. They can detect frequencies far beyond our range, and more importantly, they can separate layers of sound with incredible precision. In a world full of hums and echoes, your steps have their own distinct pattern. The weight of your stride, the tempo of your walk, the subtle squeak of your shoes, or the way you pause before turning the handle. To your dog, it's not just familiar, it's personal. Scientists studying canine sound recognition have found that dogs' brains respond differently to their owner's footsteps than to anyone else's. When they hear that rhythm, areas of the brain linked to emotion and reward light up. Even before they see your face or hear your voice, their heart rate changes, anticipation blooming like a quiet sunrise inside them. This ability comes from association and love. Over time, dogs learn the details of your life through repetition, the way you move, breathe, close doors, sigh. Each sound becomes a cue that builds a portrait of you, and among all those, your footsteps are the truest signal. You're near, you're safe, you're home. Many owners notice their dogs waiting by the door at just the right time, long before a key turns in the lock. It isn't magic, it's memory and emotion woven together. Dogs not only remember how you sound, they feel it. That familiar rhythm connects directly to calm, joy, and belonging. It's the music of reunion. Even dogs separated from their owners for years have been known to recognize that sound instantly upon hearing it again. The moment those first steps echo down a hall, something inside them stirs, an instinct that has waited, faithful and unbroken. No matter how much time has passed, the body remembers what the heart never forgot. It's a beautiful kind of language, one that asks for no words. You walk, they listen. The world hums with noise, but that one rhythm always cuts through. To a dog, your footsteps are not just movement, they're promises. So the next time you come home and see your dog already waiting, tail thumping, eyes shining, remember what they heard before you ever opened the door. Not just sound, you, the one heartbeat they know by ear. To you, it's just walking. To them, it's everything that means home. Sometimes a dog saves a life without anyone realizing it at first. A gentle nudge at the same spot on your arm. A persistent sniff at your chest. A quiet whine that feels like concern. It seems random until the doctor finds something. Hidden deep within the body, a sickness had begun, but your dog had already known. A dog's nose is one of nature's finest instruments.
where we might smell nothing, they can detect the faintest trace of chemical change, as little as 1 part in a trillion. Every breath, every drop of sweat or air we exhale carries molecules from inside our bodies. When cells turn cancerous, they release unique compounds, invisible signals drifting through the air. To a dog, those signals have a scent all their own. Researchers across the world have confirmed it. In carefully designed studies, dogs trained to detect certain cancers, lung, breast, ovarian, skin, have done so with astonishing accuracy, sometimes over 90%. They can smell what machines can't yet measure. Even before symptoms appear, their noses catch the earliest whisper of change. But perhaps the most moving part of this gift isn't in the lab. It's in ordinary homes. Stories abound of dogs who wouldn't stop sniffing at a mole, a lump, a spot on their owner's body, refusing to ignore what they sensed. Later, tests revealed cancer exactly where the dog had focused. No training, just instinct, love, and the ability to read life at its most subtle level. It's humbling to think that something as gentle as a breath could tell a story a dog can understand. To them, our scent isn't just one smell. It's a complex map of health, emotion, and chemistry. They know when we're calm, when we're afraid, when we're ill. The air between us carries our condition, and they've learned to listen. Scientists are now studying how to turn this miracle into medicine, developing electronic noses modeled after the canine olfactory system. Yet even the most advanced technology still falls short of what a dog does effortlessly. Sensing the invisible, guided by empathy rather than instruction. It's easy to see it as magic, but maybe it's something simpler. Connection. Dogs live attuned to us in every sense. They watch our faces, listen to our hearts, and breathe the same air we do. When something inside us shifts, their world changes too, and they respond the only way they know how, by reaching out. So the next time your dog leans close, sniffing gently, don't brush it off too quickly. There's wisdom in that nose, written in centuries of evolution and love. In their quiet way, they remind us, sometimes healing begins with someone who can smell that we are worth saving.
In a world full of barking, one dog chose to sing instead. The Basenji, small, graceful, and ancient, is known as the dog that doesn't bark. But that doesn't mean it's silent. When the moment feels right, it lets out a sound somewhere between a yodel and a laugh, a soft, rolling baru that seems to rise from somewhere older than memory. The reason lies in its voice. Unlike most dogs, the Basenji's larynx is shaped differently, preventing it from producing the sharp, repetitive bark we associate with others. Instead, air moves through its throat in waves, creating a sound that changes pitch and rhythm, a song, really, rather than a call. It's quiet, musical, and almost human in tone. This gentle voice has ancient roots. The Basenji is one of the oldest dog breeds on Earth. Its ancestors lived alongside humans thousands of years ago in the heart of Africa. They were hunting companions, swift and clever, valued not only for their skill, but for their silence. In dense forests and tall grasses, noise could scare prey away. A dog that moved quietly, communicated softly, was a gift. Even today,
Their temperament carries traces of that past. Basenjis are observant and intelligent, speaking more with glances and movement than with noise. When they yodel, it's usually out of joy, a greeting, a playful reply, or a burst of excitement. Owners describe the sound as musical, as if the dog were trying to talk or laugh. Ancient art backs up their long story. In Egyptian tombs and carvings from thousands of years ago, you can find figures of sleek, curled-tailed dogs that look exactly like Basenjis. They stood beside nobles, watching quietly, their calm presence carved into stone. The breed has changed so little that it's often called a living relic, one of the few animals that still carries the same form and spirit as its ancestors. In a way, the Basenji teaches something about gentleness. Not every voice must be loud to be heard. Its song is subtle, rare, and deeply expressive, the kind of sound that makes you pause to listen. At night, if you're ever lucky enough to hear one, it feels almost otherworldly, a soft trill in the dark, part laugh, part melody. There's something ancient in that tone, something that reminds you that dogs once sang their feelings long before they learned to bark at them. So when we say the Basenji doesn't bark, it's not because it lacks a voice. It simply speaks differently, like a poet among barkers, expressing warmth and joy in a quieter way. In its calm song lies a kind of wisdom, that peace can have music, and silence, too, can speak. When the world grows quiet and the lights fade low, some dogs drift to sleep faster if a little music fills the room. But not just any sound, not the pulsing rhythm of pop or the jangle of guitars. It's the soft, slow notes of classical music that ease their minds. To a dog, a gentle melody isn't background noise, it's comfortable. Scientists studying canine behavior noticed something curious while playing different genres of music in shelters. When pop or rock played, dogs stayed restless, shifting, panting, sometimes even barking more. But when the notes of Bach, Beethoven, or Mozart began, everything changed. Their breathing slowed, their eyes softened. One by one, they curled up and slept. Classical music, with its steady rhythm and smooth harmonies, seems to touch the part of the canine nervous system that governs calm. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and steadies the heartbeat. Dogs don't need to understand the music. Their bodies simply respond to the patterns within it. Slow tempos and gentle strings echo something natural, something ancient, the rhythm of breathing, the pace of rest. Researchers at the Scottish SPCA and the University of Glasgow tested this effect more deeply. They played various musical styles for shelter dogs and monitored their behavior. Classical and reggae came out on top, but classical led the way in promoting deep, steady sleep. Dogs rested longer and woke less often, as if their bodies recognized safety within those quiet symphonies. It makes sense when you think about it. Dogs live through their senses, responding instinctively to tone and vibration. Pop music, with its quick beats and unpredictable changes, keeps them alert, a little too close to excitement. But classical compositions build slowly, rise gently, and end softly. Each note gives them permission to exhale. Some veterinarians now recommend playing calm instrumental pieces when leaving dogs home alone or during storms. The music helps mask outside noise and replaces tension with familiarity. Even the low hum of a cello or the flow of a piano can remind them you're safe. The world is still kind. It's beautiful, really, the idea that music bridges species. What soothes us soothes them, too. The same melody that quiets our thoughts can settle their hearts. When a dog curls up beside you as a soft symphony drifts through the room, you're not just sharing sound, you're sharing stillness. So tonight, as you listen to the faint sound of strings or a piano in the background, imagine how your dog hears it, not as art, but as peace. A signal that night has come, that the day's noise is over, and that everything good is still here.
You've probably seen it. Your dog fast asleep, paws twitching, legs kicking ever so slightly, tail giving a sleepy wag. For a moment, it looks like they're running, chasing something unseen through the air of their dreams. Scientists call it phantom running, but it's really something simpler, something sweeter, a joyful memory revisited in sleep. When dogs enter REM sleep, the stage where dreaming happens, their brains begin to replay experiences from the day. For humans, that might be a conversation or a song stuck in our heads. For dogs, it's movement, the feeling of wind on their face, the rhythm of paws on earth, the sound of laughter as they run beside the person they love. During deep sleep, the body usually sends a signal to keep muscles still, so we don't act out dreams. But sometimes a few small impulses slip through, tiny sparks that reach the legs or tail. Those soft twitches, the little running motions are echoes of play. The body remembers what joy felt like and dances to it even in rest. Researchers at MIT once studied sleeping dogs connected to brain monitors. They found that the same neurons that fired when the dogs ran in waking life fired again during REM sleep. It wasn't random. The dogs were reliving specific movements, perhaps a sprint across the yard, a leap for a ball, or the feeling of grass brushing their paws. There's something incredibly comforting in that thought. While the world grows quiet and the moonlight fills the room, your dog might be running again. Not through space, but through memory. Back to the field, the park, the beach. Back to the smell of summer air and the warmth of your voice calling their name. It reminds us that joy leaves traces, even in the nervous system. Every wag, every run, every happy heartbeat gets stored like a favorite song. Sleep becomes the place where the body hums that melody again. And because dogs live so fully in the present, they don't dream of what they miss. They simply feel what once made them glad. If you ever watch your dog twitch in their sleep, resist the urge to wake them. Let them run. Let them chase the dream wherever it leads. Their paws may be still on your floor, but in their mind, they're out there again. Sunlight, wind, and motion beneath them. And when they finally sigh and go still again, it's not exhaustion, it's peace. The kind that comes from running all the way back through happiness and returning home safe. So next time you see those little kicks in the dark, smile quietly. Your dog isn't lost in a dream. They're exactly where they belong, running through joy one more time. There's a moment every dog owner knows well. The quiet gaze. Your dog looks up at you, eyes soft, steady, and full of something that doesn't need words. In that instant, it feels like time slows down, like you're both standing in the same silence, understanding something ancient. What you might not realize is that something extraordinary is happening inside both of you. Your hearts are syncing through chemistry. When a dog makes eye contact with someone they love, their brain releases a surge of oxytocin, the same hormone that bonds parents to children, lovers to partners, and friends to one another. Scientists often call it the love hormone. But for dogs, it's also the molecule of loyalty, comfort, and belonging. Japanese researchers discovered this while studying pairs of dogs and owners interacting naturally. They measured hormone levels before and after playtime. Dogs that shared long, affectionate gazes with their humans showed a sharp rise in oxytocin, and so did the humans. The connection wasn't one-sided. It was a feedback loop of love, each gaze deepening the bond. It's nature's most gentle form of communication. No words, no commands, no tricks. Just eyes meeting across a space filled with trust. That's why dogs often stare quietly at their owners, not for food or attention, but for reassurance. It's their way of saying, "We belong." In the wild, prolonged eye contact can be a sign of challenge, but in the home, it's the opposite. It's surrender, safety, and affection. Your dog's eyes are windows not just to emotion, but to chemistry itself. Every time that hormone flows, it tells the body, "You're safe here, you're loved." That's why when your dog follows you from room to room, or rests their head on your lap and looks up, there's more than devotion happening. Their brain is quietly bathing in comfort, their heartbeat slowing to match yours. And when you smile back, even without realizing it, your oxytocin rises too. Two different species sharing the same chemical language of love. It's beautiful to think about how evolution crafted this, how wolves once learned that the human gaze wasn't danger, but warmth, how thousands of years later, that trust has turned into something deeper than survival, companionship. So next time your dog catches your eye, don't look away too quickly. Hold it for a few seconds. Let the silence fill with meaning. In that simple act, the bond between you grows, invisible, biological, and everlasting. You're not just looking at your dog. You're speaking a language written in the body itself. And in that still moment, with heart steady and breathing soft, both of you are telling each other the same quiet thing. I see you. I trust you. I love you.
Sometimes a dog will look up at you, eyes soft, tail swaying gently, and pull back its lips just enough to show a hint of teeth. At first, you might hesitate. After all, teeth in animals usually mean warning. But this isn't a snarl. This is something else entirely. This is a smile. It's a small, honest gesture, one that says, "I'm happy here." Not all dogs do it, but those that do often save it for moments of complete relaxation or affection. You'll see it when they greet you at the door, when you scratch their favorite spot, or when they're basking in a sunny patch of light, eyes half closed in contentment. The dog smile isn't a trick taught by humans. It's an evolution of social communication. In wolves and wild canines, baring teeth usually signals submission, not aggression. It's a way of saying, "I come in peace." Over centuries of companionship, that gesture softened.
As dogs learned to read human emotions, they began mirroring us. And somewhere along the way, that submissive grin turned into a real joyful smile. Behaviorists have studied this expression carefully. The difference between a snarl and a smile lies in the details. In a snarl, the corners of the mouth are tense, the body stiff, eyes locked forward. In a smile, everything relaxes. The eyes soften, the ears rest naturally, and the tail moves in loose, lazy arcs. It's not a warning, it's warmth. Some scientists even believe dogs learned to smile back at humans because we rewarded the behavior with affection. The more they showed friendly expressions, the more we smiled, spoke softly, or petted them, creating a loop of happiness passed back and forth across species. Over generations, that loop became instinct. It's one of the quiet miracles of domestication that a predator once feared for its teeth now uses those same teeth to show love. A grin where danger once was, a symbol of trust. Next time your dog flashes that gentle, toothy smile, look beyond the surface. Notice how their body melts into ease, how their breathing slows, how their eyes flicker like candlelight, curious, kind, and content. In that expression lives a story of thousands of years of peace between species. It's also a reflection of you. Dogs mirror our emotions. They study our faces every day, searching for meaning in every raised brow or soft laugh. When they smile, they're joining in, their version of saying, "I feel what you feel." And isn't that the quiet beauty of it? A shared emotion that needs no words, no translation. Just the gentle curve of a mouth, the wag of a tail, and the stillness that follows. So, when you see your dog smile, know this: it's not a trick, and it's not mimicry. It's trust made visible, the purest kind of peace right there in a grin. Long before cities, before writing, before firelight flickered on brick walls, there was a small shared warmth in the dark. A man, a woman, and a wolf who no longer feared them. That moment, somewhere in the cold wilderness of 15,000 years ago, was the beginning of one of the oldest friendships the world has ever known. No one can say exactly how it started. Maybe it was hunger, maybe curiosity. A wolf drawn by the smell of meat roasting near a fire, and a human too tired to chase it away. But over time, something shifted. The wolves that lingered near the camps weren't the fiercest. They were the gentlest, the ones who learned that a lowered head and a wagging tail earn trust instead of fear. Humans noticed, too, that these quiet wolves could warn of danger, help hunt, and share the heat of their bodies on cold nights. From that shared need came something far deeper than survival. Generation after generation, the wild edge softened. Wolves became dogs, and humans, for the first time, learned what it meant to have a companion. Long before cats, before horses, before any other animal joined us, there were dogs, watching, waiting, walking beside us through history. Archaeologists have found graves dating back over 14,000 years where dogs were buried lovingly beside their humans. Some even had ornaments or flowers placed near their remains, signs of affection, not utility. That means that even then, before language could tell it, love was already there. Together, we built a shared life.
Dogs guarded our fires, hunted by our sides, guided flocks, carried loads, searched for the lost, and sat silently through every storm. And as humans changed the world, building homes, boats, cities, the dog never left. Their shape evolved, their coats changed, their purpose expanded, but their heart remained the same, loyal, present, true. Scientists now know that dogs evolved to read us better than any other species on Earth. They follow our eyes, sense our moods, and mirror our emotions. Somewhere deep in their DNA, that ancient pact still hums, "I will walk with you. You are my pack." When your dog curls at your feet tonight, they're carrying a history older than civilization. Every sigh, every glance, every wag is a living echo of that first campfire long ago. The friendship that began with shared warmth in the cold has never gone out. So when you rest your hand on their fur and feel that quiet, steady heartbeat, remember this: you're part of the longest story ever told between species. A story of trust in the dark, of warmth shared without words, of two beings who found in each other the meaning of home. And 15,000 years later, the flame still burns. Long before a puppy opens its eyes, before it even knows the sound of a bark or the smell of the world, it learns something far simpler: the rhythm of a heartbeat. Warm, steady, and near. It's the first music it ever hears, the sound that tells it you are safe. Inside the whelping nest, newborn puppies can't see or hear clearly. Their tiny bodies are guided only by touch and vibration. When they press against their mother's chest, they feel her heartbeat pulsing softly through fur and warmth. That sound becomes their anchor, the rhythm of life itself, steady and kind. Scientists say that puppies memorize this beat at a level deeper than thought. It becomes a biological lullaby, the first feeling of safety imprinted in their nervous system. Each pulse matches the rhythm of comfort, the presence of warmth, milk, breath, and love. It's not a conscious memory, but a sensory one, the body remembering peace. As they grow older, that association stays. Even adult dogs, long separated from their mothers, respond instinctively to similar rhythms. Shelters and breeders sometimes use recorded heartbeats to soothe lonely puppies at night. The effect is profound. Their breathing slows, muscles relax, and they drift off to sleep more easily, as if remembering something ancient and familiar. It works for older dogs, too. When frightened by thunder or left alone, many will calm down if they can rest near a steady, familiar heartbeat. Their human's chest, for instance. The rhythm they once knew as safety in infancy becomes the rhythm of companionship now. The heart they once sought in their mother's warmth finds a new echo beside the one who loves them today. It's a beautiful continuity, from mother to human, from birth to memory. The sound of a heartbeat is never just noise to a dog. It's language. It says, "Stay close. You are not alone."
There's a quiet wonder in knowing that something so small can hold such power. The first heartbeat they felt became the pattern of every comfort they'll ever seek. Soft breathing beside them, gentle hands resting on fur, the quiet pulse of life shared through closeness. Next time your dog curls against your chest and settles into stillness, know what's happening in that moment. They're not just relaxing, they're remembering the sound and rhythm of safety, the earliest song they ever knew. And as your heart beats against their side, steady and calm, that ancient melody plays again, the one that started everything, the first sound of love, still there, still beating, still bringing peace.
You could shower for an hour, change your clothes, cover yourself in perfume, and your dog would still know you instantly. One breath, one faint trace of who you are, and they'd come running, tail wagging, eyes bright, heart certain. To them, you are not just someone they see, you're someone they smell. And that scent means love. A dog's nose is one of nature's greatest marvels. Packed with over 300 million scent receptors, it can separate smells the way we separate colors. Where we might smell a candle or soap, they smell the hundreds of individual notes beneath it. The oils of your skin, the faint chemical traces of your diet, the molecules that drift from your breath. Each person carries a scent signature as unique as a fingerprint, and your dog has memorized yours perfectly. Scientists have shown that dogs recognize their humans by smell even after long separations or heavy masking scents. MRI scans reveal that when dogs sniff the scent of their owners, even from a worn shirt or a pillowcase, their brain's pleasure center lights up with joy. It's the same pattern seen when they reunite face to face. To them, your scent is you, pure, unmistakable, and full of comfort. Even soap, perfume, or shampoo can't erase it. Those new scents simply sit on top of the deeper one beneath, the warm, living scent that no product can hide. Your dog can tell the difference. They can smell you beneath rain, beneath time, even beneath sadness. That's why when you come home, they don't hesitate. They don't pause to think. The moment your scent drifts through the door, they already know who it is. Their tail begins to move before their mind has even finished identifying it. Recognition happens faster than thought, a reflex made of memory and emotion. To dogs, scent is storytelling. Every molecule carries history. When they breathe you in, they can tell where you've been, what you've eaten, even how you're feeling. Your body's chemistry changes with your mood, and they smell that too. Happiness, calm, stress, or sorrow. They learn it all, and they love you through every version of it. In that way, scent becomes their most sacred bond. It tells them you're real, you're safe, you're theirs. Even when you're away, the scent left on a blanket or in a room keeps you close. That's why some dogs curl up on your clothes when you leave, not out of mischief, but devotion. The smell of you turns loneliness into comfort. It's humbling to think that love could have a smell, invisible, unchanging, stronger than distance. But to a dog, it does. So when your dog buries its nose against your skin or sighs contentedly near your shirt, remember what's happening. They're not just smelling you,
They're remembering every good moment you've ever shared. To them, you will always smell like home. You speak to your dog more often than you realize, with words, with tone, with silence. And somehow, they always seem to understand. Not perfectly, not the way another person might, but in a deeper, quieter way. Because for dogs, language isn't about vocabulary, it's about emotion. Studies show that the average dog can recognize between 150 and 250 words. That means they can distinguish familiar names, commands, and even some objects. Exceptional dogs, like a border collie named Chaser, have been recorded understanding over 1,000 words, each toy, each object, each name, memorized through endless love and play. But even for the most ordinary of dogs, words are only part of the story. What truly guides them is tone. A dog's brain processes speech in two halves, just like ours. The left side decodes familiar words. The right side interprets tone and emotion. So when you say, "good boy," they don't only recognize the phrase, they feel the warmth in your voice, the melody of affection hidden between the syllables. That's why you can whisper nonsense and they'll still wag their tail, because they don't just hear what you say, they hear what you mean. To a dog, joy sounds like rhythm, love sounds like softness, and trust sounds like a steady, even tone. It's communication that goes beyond vocabulary, the language of tone, breath, and heart. Scientists using MRI scanners have found that when dogs hear their owner's voice with genuine praise, the reward center in their brains lights up, even if the words themselves are unfamiliar. It's not obedience they're responding to. It's an emotion. To them, your voice is not just sound. It belongs. Think about how many words you shared with your dog over time. Sit, stay, dinner, walk, good girl, love you. They might not know grammar, but they've built a lifetime of associations from those sounds. They know which ones mean comfort, which ones mean play, which ones mean rest. They've built a world out of your voice. But the most beautiful thing is this: even when you're quiet, they still understand. The way you move, the calm in your breathing, the way your hand rests gently on their fur. Those are all words to them too. You speak a shared language made of gestures and sound, built through time, trust, and tenderness. So when your dog tilts its head at your voice, it's not confusing. It's concentration, a mind and heart working together to decode what you're feeling. They're listening not just to your words, but to the emotion inside them. And when they finally sigh, tail wagging softly, it means they've understood exactly what matters most, not the phrase, not the meaning, but the love that carried it. There's a moment many dog owners know. You're sitting quietly, maybe reading or thinking, when your dog walks over and rests their head gently against you. No barking, no pawing, just a silent press, forehead to leg, cheek to arm, maybe nose to chest. It's such a small thing, but it carries more meaning than most words ever could. For years, people misunderstood that gesture. Trainers once thought that when a dog leaned or pressed against someone, it was a sign of dominance, a way to claim space or show control. But science and time have proven something much softer. That quiet pressure isn't about power. It's about love. Dogs are tactile creatures. Touch is their comfort, their connection, their language. When they were puppies, they slept pressed against their litter mates, their mother's heartbeat thudding softly beneath their ears. That closeness meant warmth, safety, belonging. As adults, they seek the same feeling in the people they trust most. So when your dog presses its head against you, it's not asserting, it's remembering what safety feels like. Behavioral researchers now know that gentle leaning releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, in both the dog and the human. It's the same hormone that floods the body when a parent holds a child or two loved ones hug. It slows the heartbeat, lowers stress, and deepens trust. The simple act of touch becomes medicine for the nervous system. Sometimes that head press is comfort-seeking. Maybe they've sensed your stress, or maybe they need reassurance themselves. Dogs can smell changes in our body chemistry, stress hormones, sadness, anxiety. When they feel that, they often reach out quietly, as if to say, "I'm here. Let's feel calm together." Other times, it's pure affection. No reason, no worry, just presence. They're drawn to your scent, your warmth, your heartbeat. You are their version of home, and pressing against you is how they return to it. If you pay close attention, you'll notice the difference between a nervous press and a peaceful one. When it's love, everything in their body loosens. Their tail moves softly. Their breathing slows. Their eyes half close. It's the body's way of exhaling trust. What's beautiful is how mutual it is. When you rest your hand on their head or shoulder in return, the bond deepens. Two species, two heartbeats, one quiet exchange of comfort. Neither needs to speak. The moment itself does the talking. So next time your dog leans into you, don't push them away or overthink it. Just let it happen. Feel the warmth, the weight, the stillness. That's not dominance, it's devotion. A wordless reminder that in a world that often moves too fast, love can still arrive quietly in the shape of a head resting gently against your heart.
Out in a quiet field, a dog circles once, twice, then pauses. There's no wind, no distraction, just stillness. Then, almost as if guided by something unseen, they choose a direction, align their body, and settle. To most of us, it looks random, but scientists have discovered that there's something extraordinary behind this simple act. Dogs can feel the earth itself. Inside their bodies lies a sense we can't easily imagine, magnetoreception, the ability to detect the planet's magnetic field. It's the same invisible pull that guides migratory birds across oceans and helps sea turtles find the beaches where they were born. But in dogs, it shows up in the quietest way. How they stand when they relieve themselves. Researchers in the Czech Republic and Germany spent 2 years observing over 70 dogs from dozens of breeds, recording thousands of instances. What they found was remarkable. When the Earth's magnetic field was stable, the dogs showed a strong preference for aligning their bodies along the north-south axis. Not east-west, not random, always with the planet's invisible lines. It wasn't about habit, training, or environment. It happened naturally, as if the dogs were tuning themselves to something ancient, a rhythm older than thought. Scientists still don't know exactly why they do it. Some think it's a way of orienting themselves in space, helping them remember direction. Others believe it simply feels right, the body relaxing when it's aligned with the quiet pull of the Earth's magnetic field. What's certain is that dogs, in their simple, grounded wisdom, are more connected to the planet than we realize. While we navigate by maps and screens, they navigate by instinct, the subtle hum of Earth's energy beneath their paws. It's humbling, isn't it, to think that while we walk beside them, they're feeling the same invisible forces that turn compasses and guide whales across the sea. Every small act, even one as ordinary as relieving themselves, is quietly shaped by the magnetic heartbeat of the world. If you ever watch your dog pause in a field or yard, circling carefully before they stop, you're seeing that inner compass at work. They're not being picky, they're listening to something we've long forgotten how to hear. There's something beautifully poetic about it, that even in their most mundane routines, dogs are still creatures of the earth and sky, reading signals older than humanity itself. So the next time your dog faces north, nose lifted just slightly to the breeze, smile a little. They're not lost in thought. They're aligning with the planet, perfectly in tune with the quiet, magnetic breath of the world. Even when we think they're doing nothing, they're reminding us what it means to be connected, not just to life, but to the earth beneath our feet.
Long before electric blankets or heated homes, warmth came in living form. Small, gentle dogs who curled against their owners at night, breathing softly into the folds of silk sheets. In the palaces of ancient China, two breeds were bred not for guarding or hunting, but for comfort, the Shih Tzu and the Pekingese. They were called sleeve dogs, so small they could fit inside the wide sleeves of royal robes. But their purpose was larger than their size. They were living bed warmers, trusted companions who slept beside emperors, empresses, and nobles, offering not just heat, but peace. The Chinese imperial courts believed these little dogs carried divine spirit, symbols of luck, loyalty, and love. They were never simply pets, they were family, guardians of dreams and sources of calm in a world of ceremony and power. On cold nights, they nestled near their owner's feet or chest, their thick coats trapping warmth, their slow breathing blending with the rhythm of sleep. The Pekingese, with its lion-like mane and proud bearing, was said to represent courage wrapped in gentleness. The Shih Tzu, smaller and sweeter, was the empress's favorite, graceful, affectionate, and endlessly devoted. Together they were treasures of the palace. To steal one was a crime against the throne itself. But beyond the grandeur, their purpose was beautifully human. These tiny dogs were created for closeness, bred to love, to soothe, and to keep company in the quiet hours of night. Their presence was said to invite good dreams and harmony, their warmth driving away both chill and loneliness. When Western travelers first saw these dogs, centuries later, they were astonished. Little creatures of silk and grace, bred not for work, but for tenderness. They carried with them the memory of palaces, lantern-lit rooms, and sleeping emperors who dreamed with a small guardian at their side. Even now, that instinct remains. A Shih Tzu curling at the foot of your bed, or a Pekingese pressed gently against your arm, is doing exactly what their ancestors once did, fulfilling an ancient promise.
Their size, their softness, their quiet devotion, all shaped by centuries of companionship. And perhaps that's what makes them so calming. When they rest beside you, they carry with them the same warmth once given to kings and queens, but offered now freely, without titles or thrones, just love. So tonight, if your little dog curls close as the world darkens, know that this isn't just a habit, it's history, the continuation of an old royal ritual, keeping your body warm and your heart at peace. The same gentle duty they carried through dynasties, now passed to you. Small pause, steady breath, and a warmth that once belonged to emperors, still keeping the night kind.
For a long time, people believed that dogs saw the world only in black and white, a simple landscape of light and shadow. But science has since revealed something far more beautiful. Dogs do see color, just not as we do. Their world is painted in gentle shades of blue and yellow, a quieter, softer palette that suits their calm and grounded way of seeing life. Inside every eye are special cells called cones, tiny receptors that translate light into color. Humans have 3 types, one for red, one for green, one for blue. Dogs have 2, blue and yellow. That means they see the sky as rich and vivid, the sun as warm and golden. But red toys or green grass blend into muted browns and tans. It's not dull to them. It's simply serene. Researchers studying canine vision discovered this by testing how dogs reacted to different colored panels. They consistently distinguished blue and yellow, but mixed up reds and greens. To a dog, a bright red ball might look like a soft brown one. But a blue tennis ball? That's pure excitement. Their world, though limited in color range, is full of contrast, texture, and motion, the things that truly matter to them. In nature, this kind of vision made perfect sense. Early dogs were dawn and dusk hunters, times of low light when seeing motion clearly was far more important than seeing color. Their eyes evolved for movement, not art. They can notice the flick of a leaf in the wind from far away, or the faint ripple of something moving in the grass. To them, clarity isn't in color, it's in awareness. Still, it's soothing to imagine the world through their eyes. The golden hue of morning sun stretching across blue shadows. The glow of your shirt. The calm tone of your voice. They see less color, but maybe more peace. The world stripped of noise and turned into something simple, pure, and steady. And yet, even without seeing every shade, dogs still respond to the emotions color brings. The warmth of yellow feels happy. The coolness of blue feels safe. They don't need the full rainbow to understand beauty. They feel it in the spaces between light and scent, between sound and movement. So when you toss that bright red toy and they chase it joyfully, it isn't because of the color. It's because they see you, your movement, your laughter, your energy, and that's all the brightness they need. The next time you look at your dog staring out at the sky, tail wagging slowly, imagine the world as they see it. Quiet blues, gentle golds, soft shadows. A calmer version of the one we know, still full of life, but touched by serenity. In their eyes, the world may not be vivid, but it's beautifully simple,
a dream painted in sky and sun.
When you speak to your dog, even just a whisper, even just their name, something extraordinary happens inside their mind. It's not just that they hear you, they feel you. The sound of your voice lights up the same emotional part of their brain that activates in humans when we hear the voices of people we love. Neuroscientists discovered this using MRI scans, the same kind used to study human thought. Dogs were trained to lie still inside the machine, listening to a series of sounds, strangers, other dogs, noises, and their owner's voice. The results were stunning. When they heard the voice of their person, calm, familiar, full of warmth, their temporal lobe glowed with activity, just as it does in us when we hear a loved one's voice. It means that dogs process our voices emotionally, not just mechanically. They don't simply recognize pitch or tone. They interpret them. Joy, sadness, comfort, excitement, it all translates. They hear what we feel. When you say their name in a soft, gentle way, their body relaxes. When you laugh, their tail moves before they even understand why. They are reading emotion in sound, not words. This ability likely evolved through thousands of years of closeness. As dogs grew beside us, they learned that tone meant survival. A calm voice meant safety. A sharp tone meant danger. But as time passed, it became something more. They didn't just learn to react, they learned to connect. That's why your dog can pick your voice out of a crowd. It's more than familiarity. It's comfort. To them, your voice is a sound that means home. It holds memories of meals, play, sleep, and affection, the soundtrack of their life. Even if you leave for hours or days, that sound still lives in their memory, soft and constant. When you talk to your dog, even if they don't understand every word, their brain hears the intention, the rhythm, the calm, the care. To them, your voice is a melody of reassurance. And sometimes just hearing it is enough to ease fear, heal loneliness, or slow a racing heartbeat. Humans often underestimate how deeply sound connects us. We know it in lullabies, in laughter, in the quiet words shared before sleep. Dogs know it too, naturally, perfectly. They listen with their whole heart, responding not to logic, but to love carried in sound. So the next time you speak softly to your dog, remember, inside their mind, your voice glows like light. It awakens the same warmth you feel when someone says your name with love. You are not just noise to them. You are music, their favorite sound in the world. And that sound, no matter how ordinary it seems, is home. To us, identical twins can feel like nature's mirror trick. Two faces, two voices, two lives, almost indistinguishable. Even DNA, the deepest blueprint of who we are, tells scientists that they are the same. But to a dog, that illusion doesn't exist. They can tell identical twins apart effortlessly, not by sight,
not by voice, but by scent. Dogs live in a world woven entirely of smells. Where we see colors and shapes, they see layers of invisible information carried on the air. A single inhale tells them who you are, where you've been, what you've eaten, even how you're feeling. Their sense of smell is so powerful that it's measured not in percentages, but in magnitudes, roughly 100,000 times stronger than ours. In one famous study from the Czech Republic, police dogs were tested with scent samples taken from pairs of identical twins. The results were astonishing. Every dog, without hesitation, without error, identified which scent belonged to which twin, even when the twins lived together, ate the same food, and used the same soap. The dogs didn't hesitate or doubt. They simply knew. The secret lies in chemistry. Even though identical twins share the same DNA, their bodies still produce tiny differences in hormones, bacteria, and metabolic byproducts, microscopic variations that drift from their skin and breath. To us, those scents are invisible, lost in sameness. To a dog, they're as distinct as two fingerprints. Think about that. Two humans who look, sound, and even genetically are the same, yet a dog can separate them with a single sniff. It's humbling to realize how narrow our senses truly are and how vast theirs can be. Dogs don't see identity the way we do. They feel it through scent, through rhythm, through life itself. To a dog, smell is memory, it's personality, it's true. They don't confuse one being for another because each carries a unique chemical story, one that changes with time, emotion, and experience. Even if twins wear the same perfume or sleep in the same bed, their personal scent signatures remain as distinct as their thoughts. That's why your dog always knows it's you. No matter who visits, what you wear, or how your day has changed your mood, your scent is a map written in molecules. It tells them everything they need to know, who you are, how you feel, and that you've come home. When they press their nose against your hand or bury their face into your clothes, they're not just smelling you, they're reading your story. Every breath is recognition, every scent is love. So the next time your dog takes a slow, deliberate sniff, remember, they live in a world where identity is scent, and no two beings ever smell the same. Even identical twins can't fool a nose that knows. Everyone knows that when a dog wags its tail, it's happy. But that's only part of the story. If you look closer, really closer, there is a secret language hidden in that motion, a quiet code written in the sway of fur and rhythm of movement. Because dogs don't just wag to show happiness. They wag to communicate emotion. And which direction that tail moves matters more than you'd ever think. Scientists studying canine behavior filmed dogs in different emotional situations, seeing their owners, meeting strangers, and encountering dominant or unfamiliar dogs. When the dogs saw someone they loved, their tails wagged slightly more to the right.
When they felt anxious or cautious, the wag leaned left. The difference was subtle, invisible to most people, but perfectly clear to other dogs. It turns out the reason lies in the brain. Just like in humans, a dog's left and right hemispheres process different emotions. The left side handles positive feelings, like affection and joy. The right side processes stress, alertness, and uncertainty. Because each half of the brain controls the opposite side of the body, joy sends energy to the right side of the tail, while caution moves it to the left. So a rightward wag means warmth, an open heart, a soft gaze, a readiness to greet. A leftward wag means careful observation, not fear exactly, but awareness. It's their way of saying, I see you, but I'm thinking. Dogs read this in each other instinctively. In experiments, when dogs watched videos of other dogs wagging to the right, they relaxed. When they saw tails wagging to the left, their hearts beat faster, eyes sharp, body stiff. They didn't need to bark or growl. They understood the emotion instantly, like reading tone in a familiar voice. And maybe that's the most beautiful part. Dogs have an entire emotional vocabulary made of small, silent gestures, a tilt of the ear, a blink, a wag, and we're only just beginning to learn what they've been saying all along. The next time your dog greets you at the door, tail sweeping broadly to the right, remember what that means. It's not just excitement, it's recognition. It's the physical echo of their heart, saying, "You're my favorite person in the world." And when their tail moves slower, slightly left, don't worry. That's not rejection. It's thoughtfulness. Their way of assessing something new before deciding how they feel. Even their hesitation is gentle. It's amazing, really, that love, trust, and caution can all be expressed in the sway of a tail. No words, no sounds, just quiet motion filled with meaning. They don't need language to say how they feel. They just need that little movement, right or left, and someone kind enough to notice. So tonight, if your dog wags softly in their sleep, maybe they're dreaming of something joyful, something safe, maybe simply of you.
As winter settles in and daylight fades a little earlier each evening, you might notice your dog sleeping more, curling deeper into blankets, sighing longer, and moving a bit slower through the day. It isn't laziness, it's nature. Deep inside them, a quiet clock is ticking, one that listens not to time, but to light. Just like humans, dogs have a circadian rhythm, an internal schedule that follows the rise and fall of the sun. When daylight shortens, their bodies sense it. Hormones shift, and melatonin, the same chemical that helps us fall asleep, begins to flow more freely. With more melatonin in their system, dogs naturally feel calmer, slower, and sleepier. It's a rhythm written into their biology, one that traces back thousands of years to when their ancestors lived in the wild. In those times, shorter days meant colder nights and scarcer food. The smartest thing a dog could do was rest, conserve warmth, move less, and wait for the seasons to turn. Over generations, that instinct became part of who they are.
Even now, in warm homes and soft beds, that old wisdom still hums quietly inside them. You may notice it most in the early mornings, when the sky is still dark and your dog chooses to stay curled at your feet instead of bounding to the door. Their heartbeat slows with the season. Their breathing deepens. It's as if winter gives them permission to be still. Scientists have found that daylight directly affects dogs' sleeping patterns. When exposed to longer nights, they spend more time in deep sleep cycles, the kind that heals muscles, restores energy, and soothes the nervous system. Even indoor light can't fully override it. Their bodies remember the natural rhythm of sun and shadow. It's something beautifully grounding about that, how they move in harmony with the earth without ever thinking about it. No calendars, no schedules, just instinct. And perhaps that's something we can learn from them. While we rush to keep up with winter's demands, the cold mornings, the gray skies, the endless lists, our dogs remind us that slowing down is also living, that rest has purpose, that sleep is a kind of quiet gratitude for warmth and safety. So when your dog curls beside the fire, stretching out with a heavy sigh, don't wake them. Let them drift. Let them follow the same rhythm their ancestors did, a rhythm of stillness, of trust in the turning of the earth. And maybe as they sleep, they're dreaming of spring, of green fields, bright light, and open skies. But for now, in the hush of winter, their heart beats slower, their breath matches the silence, and the world feels just right for rest. After all, even the most loyal guardians of the day need their season of dreams.
When the world outside falls silent under snow, and the night stretches long and cold, some dogs do something extraordinary. Their bodies, shaped by centuries of winter, begin to slow, heart steady, breath gentle, warmth tucked close within. As they sink into deep sleep, their body temperature drops slightly, a natural gift from evolution, a quiet way to save energy through the coldest hours. Arctic breeds like huskies, malamutes, and samoyeds have carried this secret for generations. Their ancestors lived where the sun vanished for months, where the air froze mid-breath, and where every heartbeat had to be measured carefully against the cold. In that world, survival meant balance, to rest without losing heat, to sleep without surrendering strength. So nature gave them a rhythm. During deep sleep, their internal temperature lowers by a few degrees, their metabolism slowing just enough to conserve fuel. It's not hibernation, but something gentler, a pause, a breath between the beats of winter. Scientists studying Arctic dogs have found that this small drop in body heat makes a big difference. The colder the environment, the more energy they save. Their thick coats trap warmth like blankets of air, while their slowed metabolism reduces the demand for constant fuel. It's the body's way of whispering, "Rest now. I'll keep you safe until morning." If you've ever seen a northern dog curl into a tight ball, tail wrapped over nose, you have witnessed this ancient instinct in motion. Their paws cover their faces to trap heat from their breath, and their tails, full and soft, act like scarves, sealing in warmth. Even their sleep posture is a design of survival. There's something deeply peaceful about that, isn't there? The idea that a living being can adapt so beautifully to its world that rest becomes its own form of endurance, that sleep itself can be strength. Even modern Arctic dogs sleeping in warm homes still carry this rhythm. Their bodies haven't forgotten the deep winter nights of their ancestors, the endless snow, the flickering aurora above, and the soft chorus of pack mates breathing in unison beneath the stars. That memory lives in their bones, in every heartbeat that slows when the lights go out. When you see your husky or malamute curled by the window as winter hums outside, they're not just napping, they're practicing a ritual older than civilization, aligning themselves with the quiet wisdom of the earth. And maybe in their dreams they're running across frozen fields under a pale moon, breath like mist, hearts steady and sure. Even asleep, they are made of endurance, soft creatures built for storms, finding peace in stillness. Their warmth doesn't come from the world around them. It comes from within, a flame steady enough to survive the coldest night.
When a dog eats, it isn't just hunger they're satisfying. It's instinct, memory, and comfort, all mixed into one quiet, joyful act. But the way they taste the world is very different from the way we do. While we humans live in a landscape of flavor, sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and savory, dogs move through a gentler palate. They can taste salt, sweet, and bitter, but sweetness barely whispers to them. A dog's tongue has about 1,700 taste buds. Ours has around 9,000. That means their world of taste is simpler, but not lesser. It's focused. Designed not for pleasure, but for purpose. Their ancestors were hunters, not gatherers. They didn't need to crave fruit or honey. They needed to recognize meat that was fresh, water that was clean, and food that was safe. Evolution gave them the tools to do exactly that. Taste receptors tuned for survival. Salt, for example, signals nutrients and hydration. Bitter warns of something spoiled or toxic. Fat carries warmth and energy. Those are the tastes that mattered most in the cold nights and lean seasons of the past. Sweetness, on the other hand, rarely appeared in their diet, so nature never built a strong reward system for it. But dogs aren't indifferent to sweet things. They can still sense it, faintly. That's why some love peanut butter or a lick of fruit or a soft bite of bread. To them, sweetness feels new and gentle, not overpowering. It's like finding a quiet note in a song of warmth and salt and scent. And scent, that's where the magic happens. Where dogs lack in taste, they make up for in smell. Their noses and mouths work together, turning aroma into experience. A piece of food might seem bland to us, but to them it's alive with information. Where it came from, what it's made of, who handled it last. Their sense of smell paints flavor in layers that taste alone never could. That's why they savor things we might never dream of. The earthy scent of rain on soil, the musk of old wood, the faint salt of your skin. Their version of flavor is not just what's on the tongue, but what fills the air around it. And maybe that's the beauty of it. Dogs don't need rich sauces or sugary treats to enjoy the world. They find satisfaction in the basics: warmth, nourishment, scent, and the comfort of eating beside someone they love. So when your dog curls up after dinner, licking their lips with quiet contentment, they're not missing sweetness, they're living it in the safety, the rhythm, and the peace of that shared moment. To them,
Flavor isn't just in food, it's in belonging.